Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to MSI 2026, where we have the tough task of bringing things back to serious reality after whatever the hell I just witnessed on the analyst desk. The first thing I want to say is sorry, Orcs. We will get you a security team and things will be okay in the future. I am Max, this is Rob, that is Sam. We're very excited. We all have three-letter names and we are getting ready to get into this best of five. Probably the best that we've seen. Is this like... Am I predicting too heavily towards positivity? Because I do feel like this has got to be the best of five we've had so far.
I swear to God, if this is another 3-0
for KC, I'd be happy with that. I'm actually okay with that. Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, the name's Dag there, kind of.
Yeah.
It's an Irish god.
Oh yeah, there you go. You've got the letters in there, I'm sure. No, you don't. Not quite. All right. Don't do math or letters on stream. I am very, very excited for this series, mainly because there are 5 Korean players. So there's something for me here too, even if it is EU versus NA. Reapit versus Spawn, though, this is one that goes back quite some distance as well. There is a lot to be spoken about. I love that Spooks is coaching his former opponent in Jose Dioto. There are so many things, so many connections all over the Rift here today. And I just can't wait to see who's going to win.
Yeah, we've got you comfortable with Koreans up there and Australians up there.
I know. I couldn't be more comfortable.
Feel right
for me,
at
it's
home.
just my heart rate that's up there for the series, to be honest, because I think this is going to be an absolute banger. I think this is incredibly close. And, I mean, we even got to catch up with Spawn last night, and he was very confident about this one. But I know seeing the KC lads as well, they feel like they got this in the bag.
And it's when they both feel like they've got it in the bag that you get the spiciest League of Legends. And I love that oftentimes at the very beginning of a tournament, when we get the first taste of EU versus NA, it's in like a best of 1 or a best of 3 a lot of the time. The format is so generous as we get a best of 5. So there are people that are like, oh, well, you know, it was a 2-0, we didn't get into our groove, whatever. I mean, it's going to be at least 3 games. We're going to have a lot of tape to work out who the best is going to be. And definitively, today we will know the best region out of North America and Europe today.
Forever! Unless we lose.
No.
Unless we lose.
Today, just today.
Okay.
It's just today. Sorry, it's for the whole... But this entire 24-hour period?
Yeah, that's bragging rights right there. Yeah,
bragging rights.
All right, let's get into
That's why we put it on later on in the day here in Korea, so you guys wouldn't argue too much. All right, let's get into the HyperX draft, Cody.
I was curious about that because a lot of the NA fans went to sleep. It's so late. Let's get into the draft, though. Good point. And we do already have some target bans. You know, KC, of course, Akali is Quid's best champion. And trying to take out some of those AP solo laners that they have used effectively.
And also sets up a potential Orianna here, honestly, if you're Team Liquid, right? Like, I think she's incredibly strong in the patch, especially with Cassiopeia and Nivea. Maybe it's a setup for the Rise here for Team Liquid, but I think the Orianna very strong in this position as well.
Ljudi moji.
Orianna matches up decently well into the Rise.
Ajmo da bacimo lagani chill da vidimo da li smo I dalje superiorni region.
I think picking it away from Yahoo is just enough. And that's exactly what they're going to do.
To je u suštini jedino pitanje koje me zanima. Ori je ostalo otvoreno, što je dosta interesantno. Ostao je Ryze, ali Ori je dobrog Ryza. O, brate, mili, je moguće se igraju Camille?
So definitely both pairings still
Zašto ne
available.
Barda?
KC locking into that Camille support again for Busio.
And this was more of an Eastern thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and so Busio's been putting that one
Čudno, čudno, jako čudno.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe, you may not know him, but he's an up-and-coming Polish player, and he's been doing absolutely fantastically in the past when he was on these kind of Rome champions. So, and I was really impressed with him on the Camille against T1 as well. I think he had this incredible performance. So I'm excited to see the impact that he can have. But I am curious what they want to try and pair with for Kalist, as you've got the Orianna Nocturne in the opposite.
I just think it's so strong as a support. If you are a mechanically gifted support, which Busio is.
Dobro je igrao Camille. Stvarno, ali mislim da mu je samo... Mislim da mu je samo, ne znam, Bard mu je nekako bolji, šta znam, mislim da tipuje. Camille je baš flip pick, iskreno, baš flip pick.
Busio definitely will have a big impact, and Core has responded with the team fight here with the Rel.
And I was wondering whether they were going to just go full Nocturne composition and pick the Nico, but I think Nico into the Camille can be a little bit of a difficult matchup. Core has been great on the Rel, and this is just more, we can dive you at any stage. We can put a ball on basically anyone and have a good time. We've had the Orianna Nocturne combination banned the entire season in the LCK. We have never seen it. It just hasn't happened this season, I'm pretty sure.
It's also because the Nocturne is so oppressive in those levels 1 to 3, like looking for early invades as well is so strong. And against the Wukong, I think that could be something you could try and look towards, but I think we're going to get a lot of the target bans towards the AD carry role with Team Liquid coming in, because Camille kind of wants something that can have decent wave clear and be left on their own. If you can try and remove some of those picks, I think you set up nicely then for Team Liquid to try and respond for a Camille roam with that potential dive on the bottom lane.
Yeah, the Ziggs and the Mel have definitely been premier
Ezreal
combos
ban.
with it, so we'll see.
Renekton je fajn kao safe blind top. Ignare eventualno ban, ako će idu na tu stranu. Možda je Morgan igrao, ne mogu setim. Igrao je Yasuo, ne igrao je Yasuo. Igrao je Yasuo.
And had been the best performing players on their teams in those losing games that they had anyway.
Kajsa.
Definitely we're saying Morgan's Renekton, you know, his most played and his best champion, iconic, so that's a worthy target ban right there.
I'm hoping it was Canon, you know, he's just sitting back there, it's like, I remember what to do against Morgan, we ban the crocodile, and that is definitely a good idea. He was also the one that debuted Yorick in the top lane as well in the LCK, so it might be something that they could look at in theory. Wouldn't mind a little bit of side lane power for TL at this point in time, but the Jace going to be taken away from Canon, definitely one of his comfort picks.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going to try and go for the Rumble on this rotation, even though you kind of want the counter pick, just because it's been such a strong pick for Canon. Oh, she's banned away, thank you, Gobi. But I still think getting some of this like strong, like the Gnar in that top lane that can work in these team fights is going to be the big focus here for that top side. But it looks like they're going to go towards the Varus, which can be a little bit vulnerable. Like this will be unreal, because Kallista's not played any of the mages at all split long. And it's not something I expect them to pick up, but obviously coming into this patch, you need to have this in your wheelhouse.
And it's a really dangerous time to pick Ziggs as well, because Orcs is on the analyst test, so he will be adjudicated for his level of play.
The pairing is just so good with the Camille, because you have kill pressure in lane, you can also just clear waves, let the Camille have so much extra time roaming around, and you know, if they can get the Rise into a very good point on side lanes here, be able to move around, then maybe that will be the avenue to victory. The Tristana Rel combo here from bot side.
So she actually got buffed coming into this patch as well, with the mana going down on her Q, so making her a lot easier to just hop in and look for these aggressive trades. So definitely going to be a little bit of a tough one. Satchel Charge might be need a bit more defensive in this matchup.
I Tristanu su počeli da igraju više ljudi. Inače Tristana je dobra, to jest Kajsa je dobra u Tristanu.
And that is going to work out the blind knot towards the top side of the map. Can be a dangerous one. We'll see what Canner is going to bring to the matchup. The Vayne is hovered, but that is obvious.
Je flip, da.
It's also a counter pick to the
There you go, and that's what I was going to say. He's brought it out in the past, and he has looked spectacular on it. And he's loved.
Ovo sam kolovo juče Vayne I kolovo sam Brenda. Samo nije bilo dovoljno partija da...
And now they have an AD carry. True. That's kind of nice.
I mean, this is so fun, this draft, because topside, of course, kind of with the counter pick, is going to want attention up there from jungle, but also bottom side, this Tristana Rel combination from Team Liquid into the Camille lane. Rel actually is very good at face tanking the E from Camille, and then can also shattering strike off the shield as well. So maybe they even just try and turn it instantly and kill him. Tristana, especially if you can get early lead, you can get that early auto push and really try and put the extra pressure.
And she's also extraordinarily safe into Camille, because you just press R when she presses R.
Buffer.
And then they die.
Then when she gets the ultimate, you have your ultimate to knock her.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So you just, like, she hextechs ultimatum, and you're like, that's not an ultimatum. It's actually, you go over there now, and then we're done. So I really like that choice. Definitely going to, like, this reminds me of the old Tristana Alistar lanes. You know, if we're thinking back to League Classic that has recently come into our forefront, like that was an old kill lane. And Rel Tristana kind of works in a similar way. We'll see whether they go for like the weird level 3s or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how Kalist tries to play this, because I think your Busio, I don't even want to be in the lane. I want to like move towards mid and look against that Orianna. I want to try and capitalize on the advantages that have been gained for this Vayne in the top lane. So does that then lead to, hey, we're going to try and dive Ziggs repeatedly? Or is it just a case of, hey, Core JJ is trying to match some of those roams?
We'll see how it goes as we are onto the Rift for game number 1 of this best of 5. Fighting for a chance to take on T1 for a spot at the main stage. As already, we have a little bit of aggression. Great hook shot to come out from Busio here to get Morgan down to 50%, but he will be able to get out whilst retaining his flash.
They've also got wards now.
Ovih dana, da, bili smo od 5 ujutru. Ovo je sad super.
Teleport back in here, so already a lot invested.
Yeah, and Busio's going to keep investing his time. You see him going through the
Malo su Kalista disablovali s ovim, ali ajde.
So they're finally going to get that vision. But Morgan is 50% HP on the top side. He decided he's not going to go back and waste his summoner spell cooldown with the teleport. He's just going to chug his potion and try to stay here. But Kana can continue to punish.
And the trade-off, right, is that Kalista cannot farm. It is only one wave that he's lost so far, but Morgan very, very close to death and will now be going home.
It's also support role quest as well, because we do...
Da li Kes ima šanse? Ovdje da, sigurno. Što više, ja mislim da je ovo... Mislim da je Casey favorit. Možda ne bih rekao da je heavy favorit, kao 100% vinaju, ali mislim da su favorit.
Yeah, I'm curious what the answer is here for KC though, like especially now that you have push in mid. We saw in game 1 against T1, Yike wanted to try and go for some sort of invade, but without having the support of your bottom lane, could be a little bit risky. So we'll have to see if they want to try and still capitalize on this push for Yehu, because he's got good control here.
Well, having a look now, mid lane is under KC's control for the minute. And CoreJJ going to crash towards Busio here, still level 1, just trying to utilize that level advantage that TLAW do have towards this bottom side. And Yon just going to be shooting things. The good thing about the Tristana in this matchup as well is that you can somewhat match the wave clear of the Ziggs with the explosive shot. As you get that one leveled up, you will be able to just blow up these minions over and over again. It's going to feel a little bit better.
So Yehu went for the early reset there to pick up his tier, which is great because he's opted into the Ghost instead of going for that teleport. So having him be able to reset and buy that timer is going to be super nice.
No, mislim da je Casey ovdje favorit.
Like a potential push out of mid, it's going to be that bot lane scuttle that will be the action.
S tim da mislim da realno gledano kad hita, kad dođu do Tivana nije ni bitno, ali ono.
Versus Europe here. Vote now in chat. Who's going to take it? You know, the timing is not that great for North American fans.
Already making excuses, Kobe. Already making excuses.
But vote from your sleep.
KC's a really small fan base, so I think he'll probably even out on that one.
I have a feeling you might win this.
Yeah, I heard it's called the blue fence, isn't it? You know, not the blue. Okay, Canon is in a lot of trouble here towards the top side. First blood for the Lord Morgan as the Gnar will take down the Vayne in the counter matchup.
Ovo je sad baš rip. Ovo je inače najgori oči ikada kada ste jedna ekipa koja napravi plan i kao draftamo Camille i Zigza, dobit ćemo replay, draftamo Camille i Zigza da bi Camille romala, da bi Ziggs igrao sam. On se tumblovo u W, Kana, brate mili. I onda je flash, šta? I onda nije... Ali on nije ni flashovao. Dobro, Kana grifa. Fearless je, da.
Both crabs were taken by Yike, so they want to try and get something back for Jose Diodo here.
Well, Yike is now just going to be pushed away, Quid, with the right to roam, given the fact that the Rise was moving down. Nice little distortion for a bit of extra damage towards this monkey, and it will be a successful steal away. And so I do really feel like games that are a bit chaotic within the lanes really help Nocturne compositions, who just want to get around and get stuff done. And TL won. How did this happen?
I think Morgan is. We're gonna thank Morgan.
I thank Morgan every day.
It's a 9 a.m. start. All the people are in work.
But it really does help out so much for Gnar to have that recovery from the start that Busio actually affecting that lane so heavily. I mean, Kana helped him with the tumble in there, but such a better spot now for Morgan looking at the side lanes later on.
And it just shows that it is a difficult matchup to play out, even if it is considered one that's very, very difficult. I think that you still need to play it incredibly well to make the Vayne work.
And it has been Kana traditionally playing this matchup very well. Like, he wouldn't tumble in. He's been very good at, like, positioning around where the Gnar can try and find those advantages. But a massive misstep is making things significantly easier for Morgan, as Kobe was saying, in this matchup. And alleviates a lot of pressure now for, hey, how do you try and play around the map as Busio? Because you're not actually getting that full control on the top side anymore.
And like we said, Morgan and Kana both have.
Mislim, Kana će scalovati igra Vayne svakako, samo je daleko od optimalnog Worlds, ne znam, krajem godine Worlds tek. Sad je MSI, pa malo pauzica, pa onda EBL, onda Let's i onda...
But that aftershock putting in work.
EMEA i posle EMEA Worlds.
Flash from Core JJ just about able to step away.
Gdje je Shina
Clearly
nestao?
river control here for KC.
Ovo je
I think it's just for Scuttlecraft.
Shina
I don't
sa
think you
dvojkom
really
umjesto
want to
Kjeca.
start up this Dragon quite yet.
Level 6 available potentially as
Yeah.
Yike does look for it. So the classic battle for the crab coming on through as Yahoo was considering a back but does cancel it here as Jose does move his way
Pozima
over.
6 još malo.
Moving into the darkness, does have his orb in order to see what's going on, but it looks like they will forego that. Yike is going to be able to pick up the crab and move back to collect that level 6 now off his next camp. Is kind of going in one more time. Morgan still respecting, but steel caps are so powerful in this match.
Morgan ima plated, a ovaj nema boots uopšte. Kana.
They don't want to go for the dragon because they want to protect all their top camps here. They have 3 top camps, so they don't want to leave it open for a top side play there at 4-team Liquid. So both Busio roams up through mid, and Yike crosses back over to protect his camps and make sure he's going to get his level 6.
With those 3 camps taken, though, it looks like KC might try and set up for some sort of play on the top side. Busio already roaming. You do have blue buff spawning for Jose Dioto, though, so he should be on top end.
And look at this.
Ja sam baš koliki counter matchup naru vidim iskreno.
So they're doing the lane swap. Meanwhile,
Kao vidim ima mnogo bolje matchupe od Gnara. Bar se meni čini.
All right, they're going to replace the Yordles. Moving Morgan down towards that bottom side as we can see, as now you've got the Cyclone coming on through. Core JJ will be able to crash over the wall, but Busio gets in there and takes down the Rel. Wrong place, wrong time for the TL support.
KC make the play happen before Team Liquid can really mount the defense, catching Core JJ as he's trying to get the vision, and it's a quick punch back into the face.
They thought they had so much safety because everybody was up around there with Morgan recalling in the brush and Nocturne ultimate ready, but Core just gets bursted so quickly. They don't want to play into the losing skirmish already. So KC get one back, and we're right back to even.
It is entirely square between the two teams at the moment. Exactly what we wanted for this game number 1. EU versus NA. TL desperately trying to get to that rematch with T1, but so are KC.
Would I say technically NA has 2 kills because Busio is the one who got the kill?
No, he's Polish. He's Polish. Remember? Yeah. In the same way, it's Jose Pion now.
All right, Morgan could be in a little bit of trouble. Does hit Mega at exactly the right time, though, for the defense, grabbing that extra health as the Dragon is going to be begun here by KC. TL, with their control of the waves, have been able to get to a slight gold advantage, and Jose is on these grubs, able to take them down as well. And Yon's on Tristana, right? Like, you can really demolish these turrets very, very quickly. Same to be said for Ziggs. But I think the sieging capabilities of both of these comps is pretty scary.
Dobro, clear samo.
Callisto just going to clear out the wave, and
Sad ne mogu dolinu zašto je Ziggs bacio ult.
Kind of changing up his jungle path here. I think if you're separated from Yike, it opens up for Busio and Yike to go for plays on side lanes that can make it really uncomfortable for Team Liquid. So by leaving his Krugs available on the bottom side, he's now going to be able to kind of match this clear down towards the bottom half of the map and kind of keep pace with Wukong, which makes it a little bit easier to kind of control what KC can do in these early stages.
Yeah, incredibly dangerous when they have extra time to roam around. And look at the deep vision from KC through the red quadrant of TL's jungle as well, so they can look to try
I Busio ide na Thunder Sky, isto koji Kerija kad je igrao Camille.
Yep, homework done for Dragon was definitely very thorough. Absolutely. But Morgan just going to clear out the wave. We did have waves equalizing towards the top side as well. But with 81 to 81 as far as CS is concerned between these top laners, that kill gold retained here for Morgan does feel like the Nara's in a much better position than I was expecting in this matchup against the Vayne, that does really like to catapult themselves into a good position in the earlier stages rather than utilize late game. That being said, I feel like how this composition works later on in the game is a little bit different to a traditional Vayne in the top lane with another 80 carry there towards the bottom side.
Yeah, trying to have so much pressure on all 3 lanes. You show one person each lane and then have 2 junglers basically, with Busio also always hovering around. It looks like they've decided top lane where Yon is going to be the target. Now, Yike does have his ult back.
Yeah, only level 5 for Busio. As there's a rocket jump in, flashes away immediately. And the Hextech sweep does come on down. Yon does have Buster Shot, gets rid of the Vayne, and there's the barrier, but it's not going to be enough.
Doktor koji pali ulti podrške radi. On uleće.
The paranoia comes in though as Morgan gets in. The Meganar is a little late as he's looking for more. Busio was the guaranteed kill, but he does not actually go for it. Went for the big one, and that's going to let the ball live apart from Busio. who will be caught by the very edge of the shockwave.
That could have gone so
Kalisti
much
dalje
worse
bleji na
for
botu,
KC,
dobija
though,
free
as the
plate-ove, možda
Avengers
uzme cijelu
assembled.
kulu.
They just about managed to scurry away from that. It'll only be Busio who has to give his life.
And in the end, they've got a zigzag just pushing bottom lane there. Kalist, there's 2 turret plates off of that bottom side turret now. Jose is continuing through the top side jungle invade, though.
Yeah, looking for Yike. We'll be able to push him away from this inner turret, buy some more space for Morgan as well to possibly get another plate. But Busio back out onto the map. Core is going to show up here as well. Still level 5 for both of our supports. Core JJ very, very close to getting that Magnet Storm available. If they can find a fight with support ultimate advantage, that could be a big deal. But nothing really coming up and available within that time, which is going to be quite a slight window as Core JJ will be able to hit that ultimate now.
The Ike's starting to get into a good spot, though. He just completed the Triforce. You can see here is KC. They end up going for the dive. It's a nice job by Yon to flash away from the hit from Busio, but it's Kana being able to just get in range to get that condemn into the wall, but then sets up for the follow-up play. But with an RTP in behind, I thought this was going to be it. But with Kana getting the flash over the wall, Yike being able to get over as well, there's no one on Team Liquid that they can really find. So KC, it's only Busio who gets caught on the lip of this ultimate from Quid.
Yeah, right on the edge. I meant Morgan was so close to being in like flash Gnar range after he got over that wall. Doesn't go for it, but does hold on to the flash. And we are missing a couple of flashes over the side of KC, so maybe some good news for TL. But we'll just have to see how it all does shake out. As Quid trying to get some vision back here, putting some wards into this brush, but full information is there as Yon's just dead. Kalist gonna pick up a solo kill in the bottom lane.
This is the first time Kalist... Oh,
Tako je, ko pobedi ide dobije batine od Tivana. Povestali 10 minutes, 10. Pa dobro, još jedan game, starajš.
That's Kalist's first time ever playing Ziggs in a competitive game.
A misliš će ovo baš biti muka, iskreno. Misliš će ovo baš biti muka.
Yeah, we need a replay of that because, you know, Yon didn't have his summoner spells from that top side play, but Kalist didn't flash or anything, so let's take a look at it. Just hitting some bombs, I assume.
Yeah, because it's not like you don't have a leap away as Tristana, so that was the initial poke that we saw. A lot of damage, honestly, off of that first combo.
Another bomb. Spike. No joke.
He just doesn't miss.
He just hit every bomb. That's the answer.
Wow.
Huh. Well, that'll do it. A little bit of disrespect there out of Yon. And they will be able to pick up that solo kill towards the bottom side. Morgan, with that Mega Gnar now up and available, Busio is going to be supporting Kana here. And that will mean that this Gnar won't be able to get any more plate money towards that top side. First Turret Blood going over to KC though.
Kana ne sviđa mi se kako igra. Ovo je malo problem za KC. Mada meni se ni Ziggs ne sviđa, mako Kalist dobro igra. Nemam pojma. Igra Kalist jako dobro Ziggsa. Ali Hyperlate će malo možda biti problem, ne znam. Sutra u 10 igra Tivan protiv pobednika ovog meča.
Yeah, and that's perfect for the comp that they have since they want to play the map so spread here with all these different pressure points. And they can just overload, delete this tower with another satchel charge, and continue the snowball.
Beautifully done. So, immediately moving up to 2 turrets taken. Mid lane outer is ready to fall as well, as we can see, although not as ready to fall as I may have otherwise expected. TL getting a little bit more ground there in mid. As we have a look at the Coinbase gold grind, yeah, Kalist doing a phenomenal job up against Yon here, and they do need their Tristana to start getting strong for that late game consistent damage.
And it's so scary too because Busio also had a pretty good start, so we're going to see the combo, the Camille ult and the Ziggs ult and all this guaranteed damage. Crazy. If Kalist is fed, then that damage is just going to be lethal. You're just going to get one comboed.
I do think the shining light here for TL though is that KC stayed very late on the map. So with Rift Herald about to spawn in 20 seconds, KC are now only looking for those resets. So TL...
Razmišljam ako mogu da šotaju Kahua, možda mogu da igraju. Jer Ryze nema def item do 4. sad zbog actualizera. Koliko je broken, toko možda ubije.
Employed just yet. So in a straight up 5v5, things could be difficult for KC. They have a lot of smoke and mirrors in their composition, and I think if TL managed to sink their fangs in, it could be a tough one to play out.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at Morgan, see if he can get over there. Wants to charge up his Gnar bar a little bit on the way as well. He does have his flash. Pretty much everybody except for Quid has the safety of their flash for this fight.
Well, Jose is just going to be using that spell shield, but the Cyclone comes down immediately. There's the Hextech ultimatum, but maybe Busio has gone too far. As JJ will help lock him down. That is Morgan going to get thrown away as Jose goes in. It's a big gnaw from Morgan as well. Kalis getting taken down solo, but the Dustbringer is not enough. Morgan's dead. Yehu's at full health, and now it's KC's turn to start moving forward. That's a great dissonance to try and slow down this rise, and they do hold them at bay for now.
Oh, those flashes were critical. You know, being able to draw Busio that far under tower and then core with the combo to keep him there started it out good for TL, but then they also go under KC's tower, Dagda.
And it was also just a little early on that combo from KC, right? Kalist, if he'd waited a little bit for that Busio ult to actually land, would have been able to get that ultimate first, but with that flash, as you talked about, getting him away, Jose Diodo lives, and it became a spicy play in the mid lane.
And that's what we were talking about. We were waiting to see the Nocturne Orianna combo, then it comes in. And now we're sitting at 4-4, everything tied up once again.
Yeah, it was a buy one, get three free though, because usually when you do the Nocturne Orianna combo, it's you kill the carry. Managing to pick off all those members of KC and push them back was so crucial for that play.
I think the Nocturne Ori combo got Morgan a little too hyped as 4 now.
A little bit overly enthusiastic.
I mean, I got super hyped too. We were all like, oh my goodness,
I was not hyped.
Triple.
I was hyped for the League of Legends. Don't worry, Dagda.
I dalje even.
When KC find themselves an angle.
Fan, it's okay.
Yeah, just trying
Kažem, Orianna Nocturne je i dalje stvar. Ne možete nikad to da otpišete.
On one of the teams in this game. Okay, we do have the Rift Herald now getting taken down very, very low as Jose trying to make Busio scared, but Busio not a very scared man, as they will be able to take down the Rift Herald. Immediately thrown down. Not sure about that one.
I think they thought that he was in danger, so he was going to give the exit car if like Busio got caught or something.
Instead, it's giving some gold over to Jose, and that is about it. As now we're going to have a look at the replay of the previous fight.
Yeah, I mean, as we see this kick off, like the immediate jump onto Jose Diodo, but here I expected them to wait for Busio's ult to land before they threw out the Ziggs ult. And then as you called it, Kobe, flashing under the terror, manages to buy a bit of space. But I think it's Morgan with this combo that ends up setting up really well.
Yeah, so Jose gets the triple shockwave. We all got hyped, and then Morgan does the bounce in and then flashes over. And so he just dies under tower, doesn't get them. And, you know, everybody having flashes had the big difference, right?
It was the Morgan ult that looked a little wonky to me. I thought he'd hit a couple of members, but just couldn't connect.
Yeah, no Kana flash now, no Kalis flash now, no Yike flash now after that because of it. And so the summoner spells being traded have to keep on, you know, these cooldowns here. Slightly more, you know, effective now for TL, you would think, with Yon having the double summoner spells, both their main carries.
Yeah, both Ari and the Tristana having summoners available for a Drake that's spawning in 30 seconds time. I think could be a big deal fighting for Double Dragon here on both sides.
Yeah, I do think an early stop-off, kind of third item here for Kalist and Yehu, getting that Seeker's Arm Guard is going to be really crucial. Just nullifying the amount of targets that Team Liquid have for this Nocturne Orianna combo is going to be big. It kind of just leaves Khan out in the open, but look, he's going to have to take one for the team.
Right now, too, they're going to have to answer the split push. Look at KC. They've got both sides pushing in here with the Vayne Rise. And so TL going to send Morgan up here, drop the cannon.
Yeah, one answer is at least
Pa i jesu, ali mislim da će to biti dosta teško kad pogledate ostatak MSI-a. Znaš, ti kad pogledaš, brate, T1 će realno proći. Hanva koja je igrala bolje od T1-a u regularnom delu. Mislim, T1 je jedva došao na MSI. Onda imaš Bili Tess iz Kine na badači. I onda imaš realno 3 ekipe koje su ništa spec. I to je pitanje Team Secret Wales.
Paranoia going to come in immediately, and now Jose should be able
I
to
Furia.
make this a very scared Vayne, and Morgan just going to pick that one up with a cheeky auto attack after Jose did all the work.
Yeah, nice move here from TL. They make that like the call pretty early. Hey, we're not going to be able to get this dragon, so just keep on pushing topside, and we'll look. You know, if Kana is still there, then we'll, you know, pop the ultimate, and they do. They get sight of him. So that Jose is able to connect with the Nocturne ultimate and grab that one, even though they did have that top lane summoner spell advantage.
And gentlemen, there was like a 1.6k gold advantage for Kalist. Where has it gone? I'm genuinely curious. I don't know where it went.
Yeah, I think Ayana did have the calls, so partly
that's probably it.
And then, you know, picking up some of the turrets as well. But yeah, it's just been Team Liquid managing to play on side lanes well and picking off some of the members that have been straggling for KC. And I think that's kind of where now, with the Nocturne on board, it does become a little bit more difficult for KC to really get plays here. They can't really push out mid. They haven't been able to get as much control on side lanes because of the Nocturne, which is stopping them getting the mid lane turret and kind of pushing those advantages forward.
Yeah, it feels like the key players right now for each team is Jose for Team Liquid. The Nocturne ultimate is going to determine so many of their plays. And then Busio on KC, but...
There it is. That's a lot of damage towards this Vayne. Does go invisible, though, underneath the turret, so they're unable to actually kill Kana here, who still has teleport.
On builda Essence River, brat moj ludi. Mislim da to nije dobro u ovom matchupu. Mislim da mu je Trinity Terminus bolji build. Morgan grifuje. No, dobro živi. Bacio ulti, bacio je flash, ali da.
Now moving forward, KC have backed away from the Baron though. They're just going to now realm warp themselves into the mid lane for no. What? Why did we do this? As now Quid is going to be able to help lock them down. That's a kill over to Jan, and that felt like a mistake.
That was certainly a mistake. Atlas right into the wave.
Čuka.
They wanted to get over to the wave to
I kažem, Kalis se ništa ne pita, zato mi se Ziggs ne sviđa.
Yeah, who saw T1 do it against him?
That's what I was like,
maybe we need to do it, but that was a huge mistake because I don't think they could turn back towards the Baron. Morgan had the TP, they didn't get the kill, so there was going to be too many members of Team Liquid at the Baron. And in trying to protect mid lane, they end up just giving across kills on top of the mid lane tower.
What was their vision like on the mid wave? They for sure saw Tristana. Did they not see the Rel right there? Because the Rise Realm Warp has been serving people up on silver platters this tournament.
Yeah, it seems to be a negative ultimate for the Rise team. We'll see whether that is going to be something that can be rectified as we move further on. But let's have a look at this one more time. I really thought that the turn onto Morgan was going to work for KC.
Yeah, they really almost were able to burst him, but he's able to flash out and escape. And then, so there is a control ward here that cores in, but they see him there. So they just don't respect him. He popped his head out of the bush for a second there.
Yeah. And the Shattering Strike Flash just
Al dobro, iskreno moram da priznam u odbranu Kjahua video je od Fakera da baci ulti u protivnike i da rikne. To je i Faker radio, ubio je sebe i dva saigrača. Realno gledano, fair.
Not quite able to take a Baron or anything like that off the back of that play, and only a 2,000 gold lead. For this next Drake, they should be able to even things out and get a little bit of control here with a composition that scales pretty nicely as we get later and later into the game.
Certainly does. The Orion and Nocturne combo, Atlas.
It does feel like it's a lot of like keep it simple. We have a phrase, it's called Kizija, which is keep it simple, Rise group. It does roll off the tongue. I'm really glad because like we thought that when we came up with it. And it just means that just build compositions that are easy to execute, make them work. You can focus on fundamentals. You don't need to worry about how the team fights are going to work. And this is Kizija to a T.
Yeah,
it's
and there's so many good targets to use your combo on. So lots of squishy available targets for them to try and burst.
The Seeker's Arm Guard was bought on reset by the Ziggs though, so Kalist is kind of taken away as one of those targets. That ward doing work here to spot out where Team Liquid is.
Yeah, but KC not exactly in position. They do spot that ward out though, and they are going to back away from the Baron.
Yeah, it's Yahoo has the Realm Warp though, and he's been playing heavily on this bottom side, so I think Team Liquid are hoping they could get that cooldown out of Yahoo, but with 20 seconds now until Dragon,
I don't know, the cooldown has been working very well within team fights for Team Liquid so far, so maybe they don't want to get that one out.
Let's see too. Can they protect Oriana? Because Quid has been doing a lot of work here, and now he's set up for another possible combo with Jose. Little flank around possibility from Yike. He's gonna, since they had pushed on bottom side really heavily, maybe he was thinking we approach this dragon from bottom side instead of mid. TL are going to get the mid prow themselves. They're going to push it that way and enter from top.
Yeah, I feel like KC's control of the Drake so far this game, though, have been pretty fantastic as Busio goes in. I don't know about that one. He's just dead. Wasn't able to click any buttons on
I sad problemi. Ali bukvalno se ovo videlo u draftu. Bukvalno se ovo videlo u draftu. Jer problem je što dva tvoja najbolja igrača ne igraju posle 20. minuta. Camille previše opada i to se vidi ovdje, a Kalis ne igra AD carry-a. Koliko god ti napravio run na lead, tebe je outscala Tristana. Ćemo trunku samo da ih smanjimo.
Nobody else is going to go in, and so the Baron now is the next threat. Busio, though, back on the table. Support death timers are pretty short.
Well, Core is going to get in there with the Magnus Storm. They look to turn this fight
Busio level 8. Oj, ulti. Samo problem u draftu, ništa drugo, bukvalno.
Kill them all and then take the resets here. They've got a lot of extra cash to spend. Let's take a look at it though, because Core JJ, as you called him out, he sweeps over the wall. They get another big Core JJ rel engage. And then Tristana
Gloriana ult, gledaj, vidi.
They're going to be able to get this one on multiple members. That's 4 members.
3, brate, moj klon je, ali nema veze. Nema veze, Kasteru, tu sam ja za tebe. Vidio je klona izbio 4 oko 4. Busio first Kamil. Nije, znaš šta je fora? Dobra je njegova Kamil, ali on poslije 20 minuta ne igra. Jednostavno je tako, nije on kriv. Is not nervous in game number 1. He talked a lot about it when we had him up on the desk, in their series versus T1 and in the past series as well throughout his career. So it's very good to see for NA fans if Quid is feeling comfortable and confident in the games. And of course, if he has a good performance here in number 1.
I think if you're ever going to be nervous, it's when you're a mid laner playing against Faker in an international tournament. I'm not blaming Quid for that one at all, ever.
Speaking of T1, we're going to do a little Baron here off Vision.
A little bit of a cheeky one, but they do have a lot of control of this game for now. And this Baron should just go over to them. Yike is going to poke his head in, but Jan, we mentioned the Buster Shot. He does have it, uses it, and Yike going to have to just try and get himself out of there. Now the Nocturne ult does come on through. There's the Shockwave, but it's avoided by Busio just beautifully as they've taken down the Trist already. Quid now in a lot of trouble, but he does manage to at least take out Busio. But Core JJ going to be required to stop Quid from going down, and the Baron was not secured. And KC are just going to say thanks for the leash. KC find the moment to bring it back. With the realm warp.
Boga mi fan serija.
Yeah, Jan took so much damage from the Baron. Jan got so low for the Baron.
Wait a sec. All right, looking for an angle here is once again Core JJ finding an angle. That is a lot of damage as Yike's in a lot of trouble. Gets the Cyclone down, and Canner is trying to get these autos in. Yehu is a monster, but it's a massive ulti from Morgan into the wall. Yehu gets Baron involved, and he's going to go down to the Baron shot. As Canner just gets out of there, Spawns losing his mind.
I šta, braćo, reset, gentleman duel. Nobody wins, bukvalno. Ne, prelepo, daj da vidimo opet,
Because Yike goes in and turns the focus from Team Liquid, but it's the Realm Warp that ends up bringing in Yehu, flashes the Orianna ult, gets a ton of damage down with Busio.
Ali Kjahuku je svakogu promašio.
That's kind of where it starts to fall apart, because
I opet je radio dobar damage.
Yehu goes a little bit too far trying to step up, and as they turn back towards the Baron, that's when Team Liquid fall back on Core JJ.
Man, I love League of Legends. We're back at the Baron, guys.
We're doing it again. It's KC have a cheeky ward over the wall, but they don't have any players. So this Baron is finally going to be secured by TL. I'm pretty sure Baron actually last hit at a triple kill in that last fight. Very impressive play out of the Purple Worm. We're going to need that highlight reel, I think, in the package towards the end of the day. As we now have Morgan going in, looking for an angle, as that was not the option that Kaliss was looking for, but that is quite a decent stopwatch. Still, it's just not going to do anything. He's going to go down. That's going to be an inner turret, and this is exactly what you don't want, is to have your main form of wave clear dead when the Baron is knocking at your front door.
I mean, that tower did nothing to Morgan. Actually was doing negative damage to him. So yeah, good tower dive from him. And
we've got another angle here as Jose Diodo just going to give them the thumbs up in multiple different ways. TL now just going to look to end this game. First Nexus turret is now taking damage. Jose with Paranoia available. Yike is in a lot of trouble. There it is. He's going to follow him to the fountain. And the Nexus turrets will be falling. Decent amount of AoE, but Yehu goes golden. They need him to actually do damage. But the Nexus is now being focused. TL looking for game 1 in this EU versus NA battle to bring them one game up in the series. They're going to grab some kills first, and that is going to be that 1-0
Pa dobro.
Team Liquid Alienware.
Woo, what a banger opener right there.
That, man, we said it at the
Je, što kaže Damljan. Mislim da samo malkice drugačije moraju draftuju ovdje. Imamo 12 minuta pauzice. Ja ću odgovoriti na pitanje s Partizanom, podo ja na pauzu. Partizan ništa, samo izlazi iz Lola. Previše su uložili, premalo rezultata i odlučili su da ne žele više budu u Lolu, tako da to je neki TLDR. Sad šta će biti s njihovim slotom i to iskreno nemam pojma, ali saznaćemo još malo kreće i BL. Odo na pauzu, ljudi, tu sam za 10-ak, pa gledamo Game 2, iskreno bilo gigafan.
We spent a little bit too much time talking about AD carries at the start of the day and junglers. Apparently it was all about top lane. My God, what a gap. I did not see that one coming. It hurts, but if I keep shouting, maybe the pain will go away.
I mean, Morgan has been on one in this tournament. It is crazy because it's so unexpected for me where when he first came into the LCS, everyone was talking to me about this guy is the GOAT laner. He's so hard to play against. You can't breathe. But by the end of this split, when I talk to top laners, they're saying, yeah, Morgan hasn't really improved. That's why they put him on tanks. He's no longer much of a force in laning. You know, he's kind of just there. And he comes this tournament. He's chain solo killing Doran. He's solo killing Kana after getting cheese level 1 and counterpicked against a Vayne exhaust. Like, that is actually crazy.
Yeah, and it definitely takes two to tango. I do feel like Kana made some mistakes and allowing that to happen, but Morgan punishing it so well.
And of course, Morgan kind of being this reliable rock for the team when the rest of the map was a little bit messy, right? We saw some hiccups in the bottom lane, Jan stumbling a little bit, Busio finding these creative angles. But when push came to shove, TL managed to hold the line, which in that last sequence of play, we were going back and forth. Oh, that's a throw. Oh, they threw. Oh, this guy outplayed. Oh, that guy outplayed. So I think thanks to the Cisco network, we can take one more look at what was probably the wildest sequence we have seen at MSI thus far. Starting off looking so good for Team Liquid and getting really hairy really fast.
So a big mistake here is Jose Dodo moves off the Baron and we see Jan just get one shot. The Ziggs damage is there, still had flash up, he was tanking the Baron. Big mistake, and it looks initially favored towards KC. But then, as they start to disengage, you see KC move on to the Baron, starting to take more damage, and Morgan is the one who ends up making the big play to decide this.
Exactly. Morgan comes back here. It was obviously split comms between Jan and Jose. Do we peel? Do we stay on? But then Core, look at this engage from Core. He was stellar throughout this whole game. Flashes in, Kalista does not react, gets burst down, had the Seekers, but just got one shot, and then Morgan kites out the exhaust and gets Mega, flashes in, catches Yehu against the wall there with the last of his mana. Quid is able to finish him off, and that was such a big sequence of play because there were mistakes both from Jan or from Jose, whoever you want to put it on, and then from Kalista, and it was kind of back and forth, but it's also brilliant plays from people on either side that are capitalizing on these little missteps.
And it's just so crucial that you have a player who can step in these moments, and as we've been saying, and we will continue to say, Morgan really was that guy, because again, from the get-go, we saw KC prioritize Khan on the top side. They get the counter pick Vayne. They set him up with the level 1 gank. You take a look, it feels like this should have just been over. We were ready to pack it up in terms of what we would see from Morgan on the top side of the map, but he recovered so fantastically, and this does feel like where we have to leverage a little bit of criticism towards Kana.
I mean, this is a really smart play, because you already have a favorable matchup for the Vayne, especially with Exhaust as a summoner. Morgan has to start the hop as well to get away from this, already low HP, and he doesn't reset here, decides he doesn't have enough time and actually moves back in the lane, so he's at a massive disadvantage, and then...
Exactly, and this, honestly, Kana does almost every stage of this wrong. You roll into the Gnar with Wallop, then the exhaust comes out after the boulder toss is already hit, then he uses the condemn, he still has flash, doesn't flash either of the Wallops, gets hit by another boulder toss, goes down without even using the flash, and yeah, this is really beautiful from Morgan, but Kana played every aspect of that 1v1 wrong, and when your team is giving you draft resources, level 1 resources, you can't make those kind of mistakes.
Yeah, because we so often see, you know, Camille plus Ziggs, Camille plus Mel have a really strong level 1 on the back of the Ignite and the Camille. They sacrifice that bot lane to put that attention top, and then it was just ultimately irresponsible with that lead.
And ultimately, while both teams had individual members that made mistakes, it's TL that walk away rightfully so with the win. We didn't even get to talk about mid lane, but the Nocturne Orianna, hotly contested and so well utilized by TL, really brought back what was a difficult back and forth game. So on the opposite side for KC, I think we need to see more from Kalista. He had a good start, but wasn't reacting fast enough in those final fights, and we definitely need to see more from Kana.
He got so far ahead of the curve. There was that time when he was just hitting bot lane tower, getting plates for free, getting farm for free, got more plates in the top lane. He was super ahead of the curve as Ziggs had a lot of damage in his build, and then a couple of fights where the ult wasn't hitting the right targets, and then just dying with flash, with Seeker's arm guard up. Really felt rough, and it is his, you know, first mage game, but when the game started, I was like, hey, he looks really solid on this. This is a carryable game for him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be exciting, but Right after the break, game 2 coming up next. Can KC bounce back, or will TL bring us the match point?
Bounce back. I vote bounce back.
Tired of the off-season blues once Worlds is over? Fear not, because League of Legends is coming to the very first Esports Nations Cup, where players split from their clubs and compete for national pride. Will China test every limit imaginable? Will South Korea turn every game into a macro masterclass? Will EU and NA actually play in the correct lanes? The final event of the year is not to be missed. Esports Nations Cup 2026. See you in Riyadh.
In esports, legendary moments demand speed, scale, and soul. Players and fans bring the heart. Technology brings it to life. Every frame, every stat, every decisive play. In partnership with League of Legends Esports, we're driving digital innovation that empowers the esports ecosystem to keep expanding. So players can focus on the game, and fans can focus on the moment.
Times like this are where star players shine and new legends step up, where legacies are built and dreams are either realized or ripped apart. He still doesn't die! You cannot step the Vega and expect to live to talk about tomorrow! He passed it well with the Arcane Storm, doing so much work in GG! They are just going to ace them!
When I was a player, if I was to make a misplay, maybe it's my mouse, maybe it's my armrest, something feels wrong. If you were at home, you wouldn't do that.
The Infinite Precision Armrest is part of the larger Superlight on-stage standard initiative aimed to bring your home or training room settings to the tournament stage.
이제 저뿐만 아니라 다른 선수들도 세팅을 더 원활하게 할 것 같고
가장 편안할 때 더 강력한 플레이가 자연스럽게 나옵니다.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to MSI 2026. One game down in this best of 5, and Team Liquid.
Look at that smile. Look at Jose over there.
And you can tell exactly why he is smiling, because he is now into the HyperX Champion Select for game number 2 with a victory under his belt, having played a pretty beautiful Nocturne game. But I think, you know, this has been about like the top lane, the solo lanes, right? When I think a lot of us were talking about bot side of the map earlier on in the day.
I actually think, though, coming into this, KC will start to shift their focus to that bottom lane. I think with the Nautilus ban, they're looking towards things like the Ashe Seraphine, which has been their kind of comfort pick over the course of this split. And we even got to see it coming out against T1 as well. I imagine with the Bar ban as well, they will just go back towards this.
Well, let's see what is going to happen. I think no more experimentation is what a lot of people will be calling for as far as that bottom lane is concerned. It is now kind of, what are we going to be picking up? The Ryze, the Orianna, both of them unavailable, but the Anivia that was banned in the last game, I guess, is theoretically an option, but less intriguing when the Ryze has been banned. Still taking a while to figure out exactly what to lock in, as finally it will be that Seraphine. So we are looking at the Ashe Seraphine option. What we have seen is the responsive Ashe Lulu to deny it, but I don't know whether that's where TL want to go.
Yeah, it's interesting because there have been so many different types of responses. You know, the Ezreal Karma is kind of the
Evo nas nazad, gameplay 2.
good in lane, poke them out.
Ashe Seraphine s jedne strane.
We'll see what direction they decide to go.
Yeah, they've also been happy, and like Kalist used to be a big Senna player, so kind of also fall back to like Senna Seraphine if you really want to in that regard. But we'll have to see, is it is going to be the Lee Sin. So
Senna Seraphine?
Try and take away the Ashe, but I mean you're going to be very happy about a Lee Sin for Jose Dio.
Mislim da je Ashe malo diskutabilan pik, iskreno. Za Liquid. Šta će im, s čim peruju Ashe?
Yeah, you wouldn't shut up about it, to be honest.
So it was doing pretty good on this champ. Yeah, let's see what they decide to go with into the Ashe Seraphine, because there are, you can go kill.
Pa desi Mato.
Okay, it looks
Šta ima?
This has been a favorite that we've witnessed is like
Mel kao predict blind counter pick, dobro.
He hasn't won on us. Which makes me happy.
Yeah, that was the warm-up one, you know. That was the training episode.
Oh, there is the Rumble. I really love it. Like, Encore and the Equalizer is a lot of powers. There's Ezreal Seraphine.
So people do Ezreal Seraphine as like the backup usually when they don't have the Ashe.
When the Ashe
Ovo je pametno.
I think it's because of Mel, they don't...
Neće da igra još u Melu, naravno.
They need the extra safety. You know, they can't have too many vulnerable, no mobility targets.
It's also, you really don't want an Ashe arrow coming back at you, which can often happen when you're playing against the Mel.
I think you also don't want a Encore coming back at you or a True Shot Barrage coming back at you. So there is still a lot of value for that rebuttal.
That freaking Mel champion couldn't reflect all these spells.
Yeah, exactly. As Morgan going to be taking the Blacksmith towards the top side of the map, this has been his go-to counter matchup for the Rumble. We found a lot more counter matchups. In fact, one of his old favorites, the Yorick, does work.
Lagano, Mato nikom ne odgovara. MSI od 5, ali tu smo, ne damo se. Da.
You're like, hey, put Morgan back on a carry. Morgan actually was doing really well for tanks for TL. This was something that they really indexed highly into in playoffs. And having that Ornn ultimate to go along with this is going to be great engage to try and attack the Seraphine.
U stvari treba pogledati game na to. Bio je jako zabavan game, tako da bi ti preporučio ga pogledaš. Bilo je dosta napred nazad.
I think it's been super interesting because I know Morgan didn't do as well domestically as people were hoping, but this tournament, he's been a force to be reckoned with. He's been absolutely incredible.
He's come back home, he's got the good kimchi, and he's feeling fantastic. That's what I would assume. That being said, LA is pretty good. You guys aren't doing too bad. You aren't doing too bad over there. But then if you're going to be taken away, I imagine Pyke is just going to be banned, but it doesn't really feel like a core JJ champion to me. But it will be the Yone hitting the deck first.
Da, zabavno, jako zabavno, iskreno. Malo čudan draft od Casey-a. Mislim da je Casey draftovao drugačije da bi vjerojatno vinuli prvi game, ali ajde. To možda nikad nećemo znati.
I definitely agree with you as far as Pyke also not really being one of Core's go-to champions, so see what they opt to change to.
Yeah, on the opposite side though, it does look like they're trying to
Damjani sljedeće godine. Sljedeće godine. Pa Mato, ako imam poruku od tebe bilo koju vidimo odmah, da. Ako je request, onda moraš na streamu da mi javiš kad mi pošliš poruku da izvučem iz requestova.
Well, it is just a lot of comfort for KC so far, as we do see the Syndra taken away and then the Rek'Sai to follow. I've heard so many whispers of this Rek'Sai jungle that's going to be coming out, but not going to be happening today.
Dude, I swear that nerf to the E that was very strong. So,
it was.
So we'll see if it does end up.
All right. That's another way of playing the bottom lane, if that is indeed where it's going.
This is much more core JJ.
Yeah.
Pantheon Mel.
That's quite so much. He freaking loves the Pantheon, though. So
pusti mi sad nešto.
Still gonna have huge kill pressure, huge burst potential. Plus, I mean, honestly, we'll see if this bug actually gets locked in, but...
Samo da izvučem iz requestova. Ja ih voli Kaziksa, a na Firimu je banovano, tako da ne bi me čudilo. Ne znam da li bi ovaj game bilo najbolje, jer ima dosta stvari koje rade u to.
This is a very slow-moving composition so far. As Busio, without the ability to hover the vein, goes for the space vein.
Treba im jungle.
We'll see what he is going to be locking in. We're looking for a jungler, unless Rumble wants to go back there, but it's been quite a few years since the Rumble jungle's been a thing.
Yeah, the Anivia is an odd one for me, because usually we see it into the Rise, because it's like, oh, I want something with a lot of short range, and then I can try and play through that. But you have like an Ornn that can break through the wall, you've got long range engage, you've got Mel who's able to play outside of the range of that wall as well. So I don't know how much value you're really going to get from the Anivia in this one, but at least with the...
Build another wall.
I was going to say, yeah.
So he can't break all of them.
Yeah, and I was going to say you've got the Hot Pot combo now that's slightly frozen alongside it, so I don't know what we're calling this one, but at least you do have that lockdown.
Nengmyeon is like...
Oh,
no! Okay, that's Yasuo!
So, I was going to say, yeah, when they banned the
Yasuo.
let's take away more AD options from Quinn.
Okay, Yasuo nije bio, fine. Ima.
Just go with the original brother. Back to the Yasuo. Yasuo into Anivia.
Toma, sad kad stigneš piši vidjet ću.
Yasuo into Seraphine sounds incredible, personally.
I mean, the wind wall is going to get, some good value, for sure.
I just don't know whether it's actually going to quite work against the Anivia that's very, very good at controlling space, right?
Yeah, that's my biggest worry for the Yasuo in lane.
Sad ću ti naći LoL eSports link, samo sekund, tamo sad kad je gotov draft, mogu da isličim sa strane malo.
Wait for the last second swap and Morgan plays the Yasuo again. That doesn't sound good.
Can you calm down a little bit?
I don't know. I watched game one, man. I don't know what to expect.
But also for Busio, how the hell do you get any value out of this Seraphine ult? Like, it's either wind-walled or it's reflected. Like, you just never get value from it at any point in time.
Well, you get the cooldown of both wind wall and rebuttal.
Evo ti LoL eSports link u chatu.
Exceptionally long. So that's all I'm getting.
Yeah.
That's what I got for you there, Dagda, and that's it. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those are your drafts. Once again, I mean, a bit crazy. But this time I feel like TL has
Iskreno zabavan draft. Giga zabavan draft.
Than KC has. It feels like KC going back to their roots, back to some champions that they have a lot of confidence on. As let's get on to the Rift for game number 2 of this best of 5 and see whether KC can even up the series. All right, gentlemen. Let's see. No weird starts at the beginning of this one so far. Jose and Yak just going to be spotting each other out. Who just over to support as well. And not going to be too much funny business as Quid just getting some vision down. Counter vision already there. And some
Šta mislimo? A, brate, Loki je mnogo fan hero. Iskreno je turbo fan hero i mislim da ljudi nisu naučili da ga igraju. Mislim da kada prođe još jedno 2-3 nedelje i kad ljudi provale kako se igra hero, bit će jako problematičan i Rio će morati ga nerfuje. Mnogo je jak. Ima previše alata ima.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Vendetta is Riftbound's next set. It's arriving July 31st and brings together new champions, iconic rivalries, and beautiful art from across Runeterra. There are some summoner spells in the bottom lane, but I'm going to get back to this. Whether you want to collect or play, Vendetta has something for you. And TL and KC have a lot of fighting each other here in the bottom lane so far in this game. It is going to be KC getting the advantage, though, and it looks like the Ezreal Seraphine is working out quite nicely. Busio is pretty good at this champ, right, Dagda?
It's kind of been the go-to domestically. Like, it has been one of his strongest champions.
Tako, pojel sam borovnice, mogu pričam ko čovjek.
He's more kind of focused on the lane state, which I think Busio has actually been spectacular at this MSI, at actually moving around the map and things like the Camille and trying to get impact in the early stages. But this is, we want to fully invest.
Nisu oba drafta okej.
Winning in the early stages.
Iskreno. Da, nisu oba drafta okej.
Maybe less so on the Jarvan, but we'll have to keep an eye out for it.
It's interesting too because Jose did the 3-camp recall for longsword start here for jungle for Lee Sin. So since both junglers are heading down to this bomb side map, if we do
A Nivea radi u Mel također jako dobro.
At the same time, then he is going to have the extra longsword
To je fora.
for the fight.
Yeah, Morgan looking a bit aggressive here towards the top side of the map, as we can see, kind of taking some damage as that brutal proc does come on through. Focusing on mid lane.
Mislim da je po 6 Nivea decent u Yasuo isto, ne? Mislim, ulti E spam uvek radi.
So far, Quid doing pretty well on this Yasuo in the mid lane, 24-18, as these minions are going to help even things up for KC.
Yeah, nice early push from him, and he goes to make sure that they're going to be able to get this bottom side Scuttle Crab for Jose. Bottom lane also forced to back off as Yike went for his reset after the full clear, and he wants to head towards top crab, but I mean, Quid can just move back up here as well, and maybe we'll get a cross from Jose to get both.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's looking for. Safeguards his way over, and Quid will be able to help usher him towards that top side of the map as well. Double buffs here for Jose. As the ward does go down, Flag and Drag is good damage onto the Lee Sin so far, but Quid gets the inside track. There's the exhaust onto this Jarvan. The wind wall, fantastic to block everything that Yahoo wants to do. Yahoo going to go down, that's first blood.
Dobar je wall, boga mi. Nema on damage dobije Lee Sin ovdje. Pa da bi čegovan ispod kule, Kana je našao jedan i sad će vjerojatno da rikne. O, Evropo, daj ga malo, Evropo. Znaš šta mislim da je koncept ovdje? Ostavit će Mel da solo klira wave i on će da roma po 6. Mislim da su zato uzeli Pantheona. Ko Camille, prošli game su igrali Camille Zig za KC. Isti koncept. Ne igraš botlane, ideš po mapi, romuješ i javiš. Samo ne lenaš dole. Mel čim uzme loš chapter možda klira 1 na 2.
Yeah, Canon does manage to pick up a kill in the fight, so that will help him out in his matchup against Morgan. That is the only part of the good news here, as Yahoo is still in a little bit of trouble. Teleports back to lane, though, gets that health bar filled up once again, and I'm pretty sure still has the egg after everything was said and done. As GoJJ spots Busio and Yike moving on in, and will be able to back himself out of the way of the enemy jungle.
Yeah, let's take another look. So Jose is very well aware that he could be in this bush, so they're kind of flirting around with it. And then Quid comes over, early exhaust, as you pointed out. And then they can follow nicely. Jose hit his Q, so he could follow Yike very quickly. As you're mentioning, you know, the distance between the top laners actually get the kill so quickly that the slight early arrival here.
Yeah, and that's why I was surprised, because Kana had already walked down. He warded the Pixel Brush and then went back up into lane as Yike went for the Flag and Drag. So looked like Yike maybe thinking, oh, Kana's already moving. I can start this play. He'll arrive in time.
He indeed. Sauce from my mid laner.
Yeah, Quid having a pretty good time. It's okay. Yike now moving in towards his bottom side. Jose moving over as well. Really good position defensively here for Jose. Just making sure that he is shadowing where Yike wants to be on this map. Is Yon down to about 50%, but I don't think they're going to be dying anytime soon. But some control here for KC so far.
Yeah, Team Liquid, their bottom lane though, just trying to avoid poke right now while they get the objective. They know Jose and Quid have got this under control, and I mean, Lee Sin is good into Jarvan. It's just that I think the Jarvan pick was just for comp all.
Yep.
And so in the little skirmish though, you don't get to use, you know, your ultimates and your synergies for your comp or anything. And Jose really coming up big there.
And it also means he's accelerated when it comes towards levels, right? Level 6 now for himself. He can try and look
really
for
nice
rebates.
X-Flash here as they're looking for a potential all-in, but GoJJ taking a lot of damage. Bustio is burning. Core knows that he's
jedan basic, nice, možda ti još jedan basic prekuva, možda je bilo dovoljno.
And that is the kill going over to KC.
Kill goes over. Bustio had to invest the flash in the end, but still, here's the invade we were talking about.
Well, Yike is just going to back away. That's exactly what's going on here, as the blue buff is just going to be held onto here by Jose. And Morgan getting a positional advantage as well means that Yahoo moving over is not going to be enough to get KC control back. So that will be buff stolen. And Jose should just be able to walk his way out of there as well. Smite it down, and they will take that one away. So good advantage here from TL, but the gold entirely even between the two squads.
Pantheon's coming here too. GoJJ kind of sneaking around into the side brush.
All right, possible angle here is another Hex Flash from GoJJ to get that control ward down. KC have just backed away already though, so no worries just yet.
Yeah, this is just not a good timer for KC because Jose's got half a level lead, which means he has level 6 over the Jarvan. So Lee Sin, huge power differential at the moment, and KC have to give up that area.
Yeah, Core JJ a little bit behind on levels himself. Only level 4 at the minute. As Busio has hit that level 5, looking for the encore.
Yike still needs this camp for the level 6 though. He's very far behind, so should be able to get it, but you can see how much KC are investing in making sure that Yike can try and farm just his own jungle, let alone trying to get control anywhere else. And as a Jarvan, this
Ne znam. Kakav je prvi game bio, ja ne verujem da ovo ide u 3-0 svakako. Jer stvarno mislim da je KC mogao da dobije prošli game, samo da su imali drugačiji draft. Mnogo su disablovali i bot side. Znači ne može Busio da igra Camille i u istom gameu Kalis da igra Zigza. Ima smisla kao pairing, kao zajedno da pikate ta dva, ali problem je što je to trenutno dva najbolje igrača. I ti si obojicu isključio posle 20. minuta i šta se dogodilo, vinali su early, posle 20. su bili useless.
And now the Void Grubs have spawned. Right now we see KC moving up there towards that top side of the map as Quid dashing on over, but Yehu is doing a lot more now that he does have access to the Glacial Storm to try and hold this lane in order, and Yike will be able to get the first grub at least. We'll see whether all three will go over to KC.
Yeah, I mean, KC, Kalist walks all the way over there, so Jan is getting alone time on the bottom tower, and like this is an Ezreal with now teleports, an exhaust Ezreal, so he's going to have to walk all the way back down. They do, you know, get the grubs for their investment, or at least two of them.
Yeah, Jose just going to be able to take this one down. Resonating Strike going to do it. So, I mean, TL getting one grub. I mean, I think KC is still going to be absolutely fine with this as the beat drops. And Jose still going to go in. There's a flag and drag as Jose thinks that he might have caught Busio out, but he just backs away himself. So really nice secure of the first couple of grubs. TL get at least one back, but it's still not the end of the world for KC.
Yeah, but you're still losing this top side. So on the initial invade that TL had, Yike couldn't get that grump because he was afraid of TL invading. Now after going for the objective on the top side, loses that camp again. So overall, Team Liquid have just been keeping Yike down this entire time. You can see a 2-level lead. Yike still will manage to equal at least to 7 when he gets towards this bottom side, but it's still very messy for Yike.
Yeah. Again, I just go back to, I think they really wanted the spicy hot pot. You know, they wanted the Jarvan ult for the rest of their comp, the rest of their champions, but Jose here on the Lee Sin has opened up just such a massive individual lead. Bottom side though, 2v1.
Yeah, Jan taking a little bit of damage here, but does just walk his way out. He will be fine, at least for the minute. Has his Hex Tech cookie at the ready. I think they spotted Yike moving in as there's the rebuttal. And that will be able to at least help him speed up, move out of the way alongside the Flash.
And I think this is the one part of the map that KC can try and play around is the bot lane. Like already they've got a nice lead open up for themselves. This will only grow now as well. And the fact that the Flash is gone and Yon now means that they should be able to try and punish that again. If, especially, you're getting Team Liquid trying to play through this strong top side for invades.
Yeah, 100% agree right there. Ezreal here for Kalist looking quite good. Yeah. Definitely one of his favorite, most comfortable champions. And as you said, with Busio having so much success too, definitely will be a very powerful team fight when they bring those two in.
Yep, it's going to be the lane to play around, I think, for KC. And this composition is pretty stable. I think stable is the right word.
Problem je, to ti kažem, da. Camille nije loš pairing, samo problem je sa ovim kompom, mislim, ajde malo ću ti spoilati, kogod nije gledao prvi game, ali kao Camille je level 1 otišla top da prešera Morgana. I bacila je, ako se ne varam, Ignite, bacila je Summoner i onda je Kana solo killovan na levelu 4 u Vayne Gnar matchupu. Jer je bacio Tumble u stan od Gnara, failovo je Condemn i nije flashovo. Kao ne možeš da draftaš za top lane i da ti top lane to uradi. Jer si tradeovo bot lane.
You have no business going over there. That's why I'm so focused on jungle.
And it's like the best dueling item to pick up first as well for like that one item spike. You're feeling.
And I was told earlier it was a full moon, so I don't know what an eclipse is doing here at all. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't understand that part.
We're gonna have to consult the analysts on that one.
Yeah, they'll need to fill us in on what exactly that meant. I'm gonna need an explainer because that was weird to say the least. Okay, Yike going to be starting up this Krog camp. And that is going to be the last one. We'll see where he's going to be going next. Trishul Barrage going to be sent back towards Kalist. He doesn't want it, and so it is just going to be sailing around Runeterra once again. Yehu, back in this mid lane, and I do feel like KC, this composition is just very happy to play this one slow. The slower this game goes, the better it is for the EU representative. And so Right now, TL, I think the ball is in their court to get this one moving faster, and with an Infernal Soul this game, that is really going to help if they can keep stacking these Drakes.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid would really like to try and open up one of these side lane towers because their 1-4 is pretty oppressive. Like, once Quid gets a couple of items, it's going to be really difficult to keep him in check because Busio.
Yeah, going to get jumped on here by Jose Diodo. There is Core JJ from the sky, and where did Busio go?
He thought he was the one hiding here on the wall. He thought that he was, you know, the one laying the trap.
Yeah, well, he was definitely hiding, but then they found him.
Yeah.
All right.
Pantheon ultimate right over the top there instantly.
Beautifully played by Core JJ, though. He has been phenomenal this tournament and did not hesitate
Jajk sljedeći game.
On that man drop.
Ok, čekaj, ajde do kraja da ga. Jajk uzima Kaziksa, Kana uzima Brenda sljedeći game.
There's the ram coming through from Morgan as well. They are on the equalizer, but there's the knock up and down goes the rumble.
Pogotovo ako izgube ovaj.
They must have been listening to the broadcast because we said they needed to keep going fast. Yike comes in to try and save the play as the encore is extended by Yike, and they should be able to get Morgan for it. Really nicely done to get one back for KC.
Thank God we did, because that was about to be Team Liquid running away with a very big lead. They've been everywhere, but Busio's not safe.
Hold on. Hold on.
Jose doesn't have ult though, so it's,
he was just being annoying.
Yeah, it's gonna be stops on backs. He can't kill him again quite yet. Don't worry.
But yeah, this has been Team Liquid playing so well around this early jungle lead for Jose Diodo and making sure they're just getting in the face, abusing the matchup, and making sure that KC don't really get to play it. Although Yahoo,
he is looking a whole lot better here. Is right on the edge of that stun as the exhaust has to come through here to avoid
bi umro da nije egzosta, možda bi. Ne verujem da bi. 40% damage-a nije dovoljno da dobije kill.
Jose's there first though. Jose's going to be here first and he is 4 seconds away from his ult.
Dobro. Okej. Okej. Kupuje vrijeme, ali mislim da je mrtav svejedno. Možda i nije, možda i jest. Ali pada Yasuo.
And I think it's just a 1-for-1.
Yeah, 1-for-1. Plus you count like maybe the passive egg.
Oh yeah, 1.5.
Maybe 1.2 or something like that. But yeah, they do get that, and then investing the extra teleport. So they drew out the teleport from Kana here. KC using the extra summoner spell to get here in time and defend him.
Yeah, and Jose plays this well. Gets the kick into the wall that sets up for Quid to be able to join. And even as this starts to play out, watch the knock-up coming through from Quid, because Yike tries to go for the flag and drag, but it gets interrupted there perfectly by Quid. And even though he does end up falling down, that really buys enough space to, 1, get the kill, 2, get the flash from Busio, and then able to back away.
Exactly. The extra summoner spells there invested by KC during the skirmish. We'll see about the next dragon. It's only a minute and 20 seconds away. And you know Team Liquid are going to set up again.
Yeah, and I think this is where KC really need to turn this game around. On that next dragon fight, if they deny that, it slows down TL so considerably. Adds an extra 10 minutes to a potential soul timer and gives you that extra space in order to get this composition online, as they are on this Rift Herald already.
I wonder here for TL, because Core does have his ulti. And Jose is here on 2 items, okay? This is Sundered Sky and Eclipse.
Yeah, and you mentioned Core JJ's ulti. Well, he is now going to be over a wall as Yahoo over to the side, not going to get picked up by that tornado, as now Core realizing that he's in a lot of trouble, has to try and commit to this one. It is Rift Herald secured, and they'll trade that for their Pantheon, as Morgan, a little bit late to this party, but
Šta je još dobro pitanje? Ko ubija Orna za 10 minuta? To cijel game nisam spomenuo, ali... S kojim, brate, vrađbinama oni ubijaju Orna? A ni već ostane bez mane pre nego što Orn umre, mislim.
Quid kept alive by the safeguard. Why are they allowed to get out of this one? Quid will be taken out as Jose. I mean, he's so much money if they can get that kill, but they're unable to do so. But still KC getting some big kills back.
KC just about managed to turn it around.
Ne znam što Busio ne igra Barda i to je stvar.
Big win, even though they do lose the Rift Herald.
Yeah, it's all kind of domino effect from Core JJ's ultimate. Him going down early, putting TL at a numbers disadvantage. KC, they really do make them pay for it. Getting the extra kills here, the extra money back. They can push topside. The only drawback for KC is that Yike did go down, so they couldn't like rush over to Dragon. But also, he is back up now.
Kind of stuck around so long on that top side. It does mean that Team Liquid kind of in a position now to contest this, because Morgan already coming out with Quid. I don't know if they do this quite fast, and maybe they do.
I mean, Jose is going to be able to put down the Rift Herald to try and help out. Could be a bit of a Battle Herald situation here as they get the knock up onto Ye, who is over his own wall, and it's actually not working out for him. And now the Rift Herald is going to invade the Dragon Pit. Yike has to get out of there. True Shot Barrage is not going to do anything at all. That's his teammate. As now Ye, who tries to get out, gets stabbed by
I opet se, ja ne mogu verujem. A problem je što su izgubili Drakea, iskreno, to je problem. Treba im... treba im taj Infernal, treba im Drake.
Exactly, they get back and they put down. Rift Herald gets used so that they can go for this play, combo onto the Anivia, and then the DPS wasn't there on Dragon, so they're allowed to continue, drive the Herald in, and Team Liquid retake control immediately.
And now is Shelly going to get a double charge? So she invades the Dragon Pit, charges the bottom turret, and then gets another one on the inner. That is the most overworked Shelly I've seen in my career.
Or a great holiday package deal that she's managed to get on that one.
A lot of travel. Yeah.
Well, she was like, well, Core JJ died for me, so, you know, I'm really going to make you guys feel
I'm
worth
more
it.
of a resort tourist. You know, I like to go to one place and have a good time. This was definitely a lot more moving around that I was ready for. But Shelly might like it.
Yeah, but here you can see, like, KC just don't really have the damage. Khan is super late because he went to push in topside. And Yehu walks up way too far. Jose with a great call there to just kick him again, set up for Quid. Now, he does a good job escaping, but you've now got the rest of Team Liquid that can just get into the pit, push KC away, and it's just an easy Dragon setup with Yehu eventually getting caught.
And it's this kind of chaos that this TL composition thrives in as well. And they are able to create it at a moment's notice based on Core JJ just falling on people from the sky.
But it also feels like a very different form from KC that we saw domestically. Like, team fights were their bread and butter as... Yike now.
Yeah, Quid in a little bit of trouble in the side lane, but now Core is coming from the sky yet again. He does get charmed up, and now Jose making his way in.
Decent ult.
Canada turns up though. There's the ulti from Quid, gets out of the equalizer and takes down Yike.
Pokehu samo žduri damage ovdje, to je problem. Pantheon neće Pantheon da padne, nope. Email je stigla, Jezreel nije tu. Au bre, Kalist, igraš ko ja solo queue, nikad nisi tu.
Honestly, nah, it's just a regular Lee Sin game from our boy.
Yeah, exactly right. He's going to find Busio here. And Core JJ won Worlds in 2017. That was a pretty good series as well. But I like recent memory, my God, he's playing so well.
I don't know. I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan. Not at all. Yeah.
Hey. We're setting up for the reverse sweep. It's okay. As this looked really good for KC to start things off. Catching Yasuo's in side lanes, it's a tale as old as time.
I mean, this TL, they have really been thriving in these skirmishes, especially with all the mobility here. Jose and Quid keep comboing for these knockups, so they're able to get enough damage done. And Jose is so far ahead, he's king on the Rift. Core JJ, as you're saying, he's still able to like flash and it's done.
He was on 20 health like the whole team fight.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just the fact that Team Liquid, again, are in such a good position to rotate towards these plays. They have the TP, they have
Kalist, nula damage-a, mora da bude tu iskreno. Pogotovo u ovom dijelu partije, 20 minuta Ezreal je... What the f... To je ovo? Sim 8-0-3 likida, nema šta. Niko ništa ne može da mu kaže iskreno.
But yeah, he's 8-0-3. This Lee Sin is just a monster.
But it does, again, I was kind of starting it before we got the pick, was that it doesn't feel like the KC, really, but yeah, I mean, this is not the style that I'd be looking at.
Yeah, and the Coinbase gold grind, not something that Dagda wants to talk about, but Jose very, very far ahead, 3.6K. And yeah, it's basically, if you're going to look at where the money's coming in from, let's just go with everywhere. Yike now in a lot of trouble as they've really been able to hold him down this game. Out of turret, now being sieged down, and they haven't done a whole lot of work as far as opening up the map through mid is concerned, and the wave clear is still going to be there in spades here for KC. As Core JJ moves to number 11 as far as assists, and yeah, I think this is the right time to have a giant Core JJ on the side of the screen.
Honestly, too, there's not a really huge possibility for the comeback because it's super difficult, as you're mentioning, to work into the Mel Reflect and the Yasuo wall as well. So
it feels like
do you want to like twist that knife more,
Yasuo combo.
Yeah. Like how much more torque can you get in that knife? You know? Yeah.
Well, no, we don't have the Dragon Soul yet, Dagda.
Oh, True Shot Barrage as Yon just launches himself towards KC. And, okay, Sonic Wave from the darkness here as Jose is very, very scary, but they think that they might have caught him here as the Ram comes on through. They're looking for Kalist. Quid's going to find him in that backline, but immediately gets exhausted, taken out as Jose gets a kickback onto Yike, but it doesn't really do anything at all. Equalizer now going to come on through as Core JJ going down lower and lower. The double snap from Yon is good, but they are out of teammates. Triple knockup from Morgan. He flashes over the wall and he is still
I sad kad su svi zajedno mnogo lakše.
I don't think you're fighting for this, Soul.
Dobro, ovo je huge za KC, iako gubi 2200 golda, ovo je huge. Uzeli su Drakea, kupili su vremena konačno.
Managing to find that little bit of fight with Kalist, even getting that good flash away from Quid there in the midst of us, setting up for it, and now there's a lot of gold that they can pick up on the map, so this gold lead starting to dwindle for Team Liquid now.
Yeah, and it was only really 2,000 anyway, right? Like, that is not a ridiculous snowball or anything like that. Let's have a look at how this one was attempted to be set up here as they are so split, TL.
Yeah, so Core actually goes for Busio, but then, yeah, the Ornn ultimate not getting the knock up here towards Kalist means Quid gets deleted. And the Yasuo immediately out of the fight means they're not really going to be able to salvage this for Team Liquid, so then they're just trying to run everybody for themselves at this moment.
Yeah, and there you can see, just even with the lockup, Morgan trying to play frontline for Team Liquid still gets caught out at the end. So it is something back, and a little bit of time ball for KC. And you can still, like, the main focus for KC is Kalist. He's the one with a 2,000 gold lead in that bottom side. 3 items now in the Ezreal. If he is able to play his game, he's in a great spot. And that's why Team Liquid coming into that fight were trying to focus him down, just couldn't make it happen. So we need Kalist once more to kind of step up and try and play just on a knife's edge to keep himself safe, yet take down Team Liquid.
Yeah, needs to not get kicked. That's it's going to be the main thing, and that is precisely what he managed to do in that last fight. We saw how much better that went for him. As Jose looking for a bit of an angle here. Kalist very capable of just clearing out these minion waves over and over, and that outer turret just seems like a thorn in the side of TL, unable to really open up the map. And another 3 minutes until another chance at that Infernal Soul for Team Liquid. And I think it's going to be really important to get themselves on it. 24 minutes. And so the Baron up and available as well. Going to be a difficult objective to go for because, I mean, unless Morgan tanks it up, it's a little bit difficult for both teams to tank that particular objective this early in the game.
No, nije optimalno za Kalista ovdje, iskreno nije optimalno za Kalista, slažem se.
Just in time for these big objectives, and Team Liquid taking the other side of the map right now, wrapping around.
A gledam sad Ornnove iteme, ima armora, ima MR, ima health-a, on je fajn za team fightove sad. Ajde Yasuo, hoće možda uzmeš neki crit item, samo da hita 100%, da malo poveća damage. Ali nezgodno, znaš šta je njima nezgodno? Kad rade čist front to back, jako je teško jer imaju 3 heroja koji moraju trče 4. Ako računaš Ornna koji moraju trču protivnika, a s druge strane Anivija. Čak i da Ornn razbije zid, ti moraš proći kroz Anivijin ulti u fajtu i Anivijin stun. I što je mnogo veliki problem. Anivijin zoning pressure ovdje mnogo radi. Jer kao Pantheon koji je 6 levela ispod Anivije, samo da prođe kroz njeg ulti pop 1, ne, on je na pola health, ako ne i manje.
As Kana lays that one down. No flash available here for this on, and he has to try and turn and make something happen. It's just going to be an arcane shift forward. Kana's the one that locks down the kill in the end. That is kill score evened out. TL's gold lead down to 600. This game is anyone's right now.
Yeah, but what more can KC get? You can already see immediately Kana moves down towards the bottom side. They want to try and get some of the standing gold. Quaid pushes out top, so there isn't an option for 2 of the turrets, but still, as you say, like, this is getting incredibly close now. Just a small few mistakes from Team Liquid starting to cost them.
Yeah, really good pick right there. Turning on Morgan as he's trying to rotate over to the rest of the team. KC collecting more and more gold, making me more and more nervous. Caught also level 16 here with an arm guard.
He is very scary, making a lot of money as well with that first strike, as we can see, moving to about 1.4k ahead just himself. Obviously, Morgan can have a lot of value just in general, but this Rumble needs money to be effective, and Kana definitely has it at this point in time. Kalist parking himself in this mid lane once again, and it's still just frustrating for TL to get any sort of damage onto that outer turret. Back out onto the map, though, is Morgan.
50 seconds until Dragon, though. You can see they're trying to put Yehu in that top side, so then he can hit that level 16. Just barely away from it. And if you could get that before this next dragon, that could be huge for KC, as already you're starting to see them push in mid. They want to set up for vision control around the area.
Yeah, well, that is going to be a nice little rebuttal there for Yon to avoid a bit of the damage.
RJJ and Jose were there. That was a risky arcane shift forward. Did have Yike waiting in the wings, but there is little vision for KC in the dragon area.
Yeah, teleport in from Morgan. He does not want to risk this. Wants to make sure that he is there for the setup. 15 seconds to go as Yahoo is going to move in as well. Pretty dark as KC try to get themselves through, as that is going to be the dash cannon forward. Equalizer fantastic from Canon with limited vision.
Okay.
And now the Cataclysm comes in, but that
Pantheon šotovan. Pantheon nije šotovan zašto je Kana završio u... Okay. Da, nije gubio. I sad Kalist miluje Morgana, mazi ga po rogu, levo. I sad nemaju junglera. KC.
Incredibly close attempt there from KC. They went for it because they saw Quid on the bottom wave, but they just barely can't finish the kill.
But now they have no jungler, so KC kind of have to hard force this, or it's sold for Team Liquid. They're trying to buy time, but how do you engage? You use so much to try and get Core JJ.
Yep, still 15 seconds on the Jarvan here as well. And KC, 4 versus 5, they know that they need to try and deny this as Morgan's moving in. Doesn't have the Ornhorn at the moment, but they realize they're just not going to be able to win, so they have to give up Infernal Soul to TL, and they move back into the driver's seat.
Infernal Soul, more burst damage here to Team Liquid with their combos. I mean, honestly, that was just a slight bit overreach there into the jungle. Yeah. They really wanted to take advantage while TL were split. But Jose had some good peel for Core JJ as well with the kick over into the blue buff pit.
And that's Team Liquid, the MasterCard priceless moment now with that Infernal Soul picked up, which makes things so much more difficult. Yon's poke gonna be so obnoxious to deal with. And KC kind of have to go back to the drawing board, figure out how they're going to try and play this, because things also went wrong for Team Liquid in that fight, with Morgan not connecting with the ultimate. Like, there was a lot that actually went well for KC, but that's not always going to be the case, especially as you start to teeter into these later levels.
Yeah, as now Yahoo could be in a little bit of trouble. Morgan doesn't quite find the knockups. Yon going to get attacked by Yike. The equalizer goes down, and that is going to be enough to deal with this Mel.
Dobro.
Golden though to keep him alive, but look at these health bars. This Infernal Soul is doing.
Kalist nema mane više, ali Kor je mislim da je mrtav. Aaa, Kor? Što znači za Liquid samo da, oni su fine ovdje skroz. Ja sam kažem samo treba da ne budu ace, oni su fine, uzeli su Soul.
There's no focus. That was a scramble. Everybody for themselves.
Never mind. Yeah, who gets himself out somehow?
Everybody was fighting their own brawls on different sides of this.
Iskreno ne znam. Mislim da ovo se više 2-0 za Liquid.
Went the opposite direction. Team Liquid though, still with the bigger health bars, are gonna get this mid lane turn.
Morgan je sve veći problem, Yasuo također postaje problem zbog itema. A Nivea je sad daleko od zoni jer je bacila Seekers. A Kalis ova 4 kila i dalje mi se čini kao da nema neki ogroman pressure. No, klagan sam danas. Pa danas je od 10 krenulo. Morgan napravi grešku, ali je Orni nije bitno. Da je neki drugi top laner, problem.
Instead, Jose Diodo turns onto Kana, so Kalist manages to stay up in the middle of this fight, who then kills Core JJ. Jose Diodo finishes off the low health Kana on the bottom side, and
Liquid još nema 100% krita. 5k damage-a bez 100% krita.
Everyone just ran in separate directions. It was crazy. It was like the beginning of the Hunger Games or something like that. They're all just sprinting out of the house. But in the end, it works out relatively well for TL. Honestly, this is still anyone's game. Even with an Infernal Soul, we've seen a Soul lose. I believe it was TL. So far in MSI. So KC, still some options, especially with a composition like this.
So much of KC's upfront damage, though, is like, hey, we pick one target, burst them down with this hot pot combo. You now have the Seeker's Arm Guard on Yon. You have GA on Jose Diodo. And I don't think you're getting through Morgan quite as easily as you'd expect. So really the targets for this combo are starting to disappear. So I think this is where it starts to get a little difficult now for KC with the comp.
Big thing for me though was that Busio did get a really good ultimate. He got the Yasuo at least. You know, I thought it was going to be very hard for him to be able to get a good ultimate off with wind walls, with Mel Reflect going around. But they've still been able to find very good effectiveness there.
Yep, good angles. It's now TL looking for an option towards the Baron, or at least wanting to get some vision, as there is a Ornn slingshotting himself towards the top side of the map. Gonna usher that minion wave over as well. Now KC looking for a fight. There's another Cataclysm on to Yon, taking a lot of damage here. Does manage to go golden as Kana does exactly the same thing. Kalist gets turned on by Jose. There is the knock-up and Quid is able to take him down. Yon's still alive somehow as Yike is going to get taken down to the GA. And he should be removed as well as Morgan. Gigantic health bar thanks to that new belt that he just purchased.
Ali opet mi se čini da je delimično do drafta, ne?
My God, this guy's Lee Sin was already famous. It's going to be more famous after this one.
And he deserves it. Okay, they're going to be able to pick up the Baron while we do this replay. But Dagda, it's crazy again. Look, Anivia on your mini-map is walking from base right now. And KC decides to full send. But Morgan is also running to this fight too. Trying to get there immediately. And there you see the ultimate through.
A mislim i Kalist malo ne sviđa mi se kako igra ovaj game. Baš mi se ne sviđa kako igra ovaj game. Bar da je bio u nekoj drugoj poziciji da kada ga uhvate Lee Sin i Yasuo da ostali saigrači budu tu. Jer imaju i flash, samo nije flash, on je umro u knock-upu. Jesam pratio reprezentaciju? Znam rezultate, nisam gledao gameove. 11:05. Brat moj Argentinac. Ne znam da li ikada bilo ko iz Argentine napravio ovako dobar uspeh kad pogledate realno.
Well, they're going in.
Quid getting a lot of value out of that wind wall here as they look to dive on top of the Yasuo. Gets 3 with the ult. He kills 1 with it. Holds up the other 2 as Yike is traded for the Lee Sin. Gets out of the way of the encore, but great stopwatch there from Yehu. He's still dead. He's still exceptionally dead. Turned into a fried egg in the mid lane. And Kana just has to turn tail and run. 30 seconds on the Elder and most of KC are dead.
At the end of the day, it's Jose Deodo Lee Sin, man. 12-0 Lee Sin.
He's 18 out of 20 kill participation, and over 50% of the kills are his, and he's playing Lee Sin. It's 35
Prelepo,
minutes into the
što
game.
je stvarno prelepo.
I think that is a good time to finish this one off. The inhibitor going to go down first. Jose is going to land onto Kalist and take most of his health bar. Oh man, this looks like a solo queue game. Like, I'm used to Lee Sin's doing this much damage, not in pro play.
I love that we keep getting the player cam for Jose because he is just laughing and smiling. Like, he is
best day ever.
Out of all 10 players, he is the one having the most fun for sure. And it's not close.
I mean, I saw Spooks and Spawn. They were also having a pretty good time.
Get jumped on. True. Okay, so Elder, the great equalizer, guys. Is this
going to be we'll see whether it is going to be a good equalizer. I don't think it is because Kana is already dead. TL looking for the turn. Yon is like, well, I'm just going to kill this dragon. If you guys are going to take down the enemy top laner, you've got this one 4v4 as Yon is going to, Core JJ dives forward. They take down Yehu. The Ram is more of a celebration here from Lord Morgan as KC will just be escorted back to their base. And now TL, they have a big old buff to work with as they look to just march their way.
Brako nas Amerika dobije 3:0, ja stvarno nemam reči.
Jose Deodo is 2 kills away from the most kills ever in an MSI.
Kvida, Yasuo je. To sam juče pričao kad sam dobio game sa Sionom koji je bio 1.16. Bio sam u fazonu, vidi, bar je 1.16 za Sionu. Isto je i za Kvida, bar je 1.6 na Yasuo. 1.6 Yasuo i dalje tuče.
Quid looking for an angle towards Yike as he is so close to execution threshold. Core JJ wanting to try and take them down as Jose is in that base just
13:07, 20 KP na Lee Sinu. Brat nas je stvarno išutirao neprijatno. Iskreno nas je neprijatno išutirao.
Jose Deodo Lee Sin. Honestly, he also saved me. I think they would have taken me to prison.
Al dobro, šta da se radi? Potencijalno još jedan game, 12 minuta pauza i vraćamo se s gameom broj 3. Ode na brzaka nešto rešim, pa sam tu za game 3.
Look at these TL players, by the way. Like, the vibes could not be better as they walk off stage. This is going to be a tough one for KC to turn around from. And now we can talk to the gentleman over there on the desk about how this one's going. Dracus, you okay?
No, enough of that. Join me. Jose, 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 Jose,
Bro, it's not the first time Europe has been bodied this hard by an Argentinian, but it is the first time in League of Legends that this has happened. This was the most 1v9 performance in an EU versus NA matchup I have ever seen.
It's crazy. I mean, he was almost 5,000 ahead individually while his team is up like 2.5K, right? Like, this was an absolutely outstanding performance, and he needed every bit of that for his team to win. But I have got to say, KC, where is your preparation in draft? When we were seeing this let through in draft, I was saying to Dracos the whole time, well, this is Jose's by far his best champion. It's completely permabanned. He has a 100% win rate on it in NA. No one lets it through because it's free win for TL. Surely they have some sort of counter pick, some sort of answer, some sort of strategy. And then they're just like, no, I guess we just don't care.
And you know, we saw them take a similar risk against T1 when they left Carrier's Bard, which domestically has been very consistently banned away, 100% win rate. They do the same here, but I feel like the strategy to deal with it wasn't there. They didn't have that ability to shut him down. They didn't have picks like the Rek'Sai, which they banned. The Poppy was banned, and he just ran rampant in this game.
And guys, I'm so happy that Jose Dioto got to do this, even if I'm really sad. But I'm also incredibly pissed off with KC, because it's not hidden information. If you look at the numbers, if they've ever watched a single one of your broadcasts, if they've ever listened to a single one of your podcasts, spoken to anyone who's met Jose personally, or just, you know, watched a game of League of Legends, you would know that this is a big problem if it goes through. And the worst part, the icing on this very shit cake, is that they started a 2v2 skirmish in mid-jungle that started the snowball. That was them who started. That was KC. That was Yike who EQ'd in to Elysian, who's so much better.
With Yasuo closer playing Exhaust.
Exactly. And there is a world. If Yasuo had recalled, if you're up a man advantage where Jose Dioto might have looked foolish, that is not this world. That is not this timeline. That was awful.
Honestly, I think even if they just watched the World Cup, they would have expected this level of kicks from an Argentinian and banned it away. But, you know, bit of disrespect.
Has anyone ever seen Messi and Jose in the same room at the same time?
I haven't.
It's
so
true.
there we go.
Me personally, I have not.
Look, I'm going to be honest. It's hard to be optimistic right now about KC, but I think we do need to talk about it because right now it really feels like TL are running away with this series, no doubt 2-0 up, but this game was even less close than the first game, even more dominant, and I'm wondering if KC are just going to fall apart because, frankly, this has been far too sloppy, far too inconsistent, I think, for any fan, pundit, or analyst to feel really confident predicting KC in Game 3.
I mean, it is kind of crazy when you even look at the damage at the end. Yeah, he wasn't really able to do much in the fights. I did think that Kana had a much better game than on the Vayne.
Agreed.
I think that Kalist played a pretty darn good Ezreal game, but you can't allow someone on the other team to get this far ahead and expect them to be able to make up for it.
And, you know, I feel like Jon had a better performance here on the Mel. He was the person I was most concerned about because the tournament so far has been a bit rough and you're into Jarvan and Rumble as an immobile pick, but a lot of times when he was the focus, able to get that damage out, able to buy time for the team and allow them to turn it around, it feels like the preparation, we saw it against T1 from TL, has been better, and they're demonstrating that again here.
So Dracos, they're down 2-0. What do?
This is the hard part, right? Because I wish I could tell you there's one player who's been a shining light throughout the entire series, but it's just not the case. I think every single member of KC has blundered, has fumbled. So I will say that I believe that the players on this team are good enough. I believe all 5 of them have shown the potential to carry. None of them have done it yet. So I won't pick a single lane, but I will say that one player on KC has to rise to the challenge because thus far, none of them have.
I agree. I mean, it's step up right now or go home. 0-3 to TL. Game 3 coming at you right after the break.
I'm gonna fight. I have ulti. 인터넷도 박아주면 좋아요. I have ulti. I have ulti behind. I'm ulti behind.
Fighting top. I'm coming. Set up in top 2. Let's fight.
Oh, rumble TP. Slow. 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Slow. Slow.
Jarvan ulti. Anivia maybe? Anivia?
Watch. I'm coming as well. Azure not here.
Jarvan no flash.
I'm first. Coming. Rumble no flash as well. 나왔어.
We win this.
Nice job. Wait. Huh? We won.
TL moving to match point over KC here at the MSI play-ins.
The human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab
Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Times like this are where star players shine and new legends step up, where legacies are built and dreams are either realized or ripped apart. He still doesn't die! You cannot step the faker and expect to live to talk about tomorrow! He dropped it well with the arcade storm, doing so much work in Genji!
Tired of the off-season blues once Worlds is over? Fear not, because League of Legends is coming to the very first Esports Nations Cup, where players split from their clubs and compete for national pride. Will China test every limit imaginable? Will South Korea turn every game into a macro masterclass? Will EU and NA actually play in the correct lanes? The final event of the year is not to be missed. Esports Nations Cup 2026. See you in Riyadh.
I told you I was done with basic browsers.
Your setup wants Opera GX, and you're holding it back. Upgrade to the gaming browser. Download Opera GX.
Red Bull gives you wings.
With my new phone company, Menace Mobile, our pricing structure will be so confusing, it can only be described as evil.
That isn't evil. It's just typical phone company stuff. Besides, people just switch to Verizon.
With their new Simplicity plan, there's just one plan and one price.
What now?
And it's only $30 for a single line.
$30! So you're all choosing Verizon. Traitors!
Introducing the Simplicity plan, $30 for a single line.
Can you hear me now?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. MSI 2026. We are hot dropping straight into Champion Select here as we get into game number 3. As KC try to find it, try to figure it out to bring themselves back into this series and possibly get themselves a reverse sweep. But their backs could not be closer to the wall.
Well, luckily for them, Lee Sin, Jose cannot play it again. And they're still banning the Akali. That is a good ban against Quid.
All right, there we go. Some homework has been done.
Some, not all of it.
The Bard also going to be taken away here. And first pick now available for TL. See what Morgan is going to be taking away. I always just think it should be Renegade. But that's because all I care about is Morgan and playing his favorite champion.
They did ban the Jace.
Chances. Instead, Nautilus going to be locked in for Core JJ.
Yeah, this because you're kind of hitting on towards like the comforts that are being taken away for Team Liquid, but a lot of those comforts are gone for KC as well, right? Like the top lane, the Rumble being taken away, the Vayne was even a big pick for Kana domestically. The Busio's champion pool has been whittled down as well, so I am curious what the plan is going to be here, as Jhin was not the high priority that I was expecting.
I was thinking about Jhin, but not positively. The
I
Varus
was
going to be the
gonna
choice
say,
instead.
I haven't been a fan of Varus after the nerfs.
Yeah,
but
same.
The team still are. So they're going to take it away. And Jan himself has been a fan of it too.
He had a good game on it, right? They played the only lethality Varus that we've had so far this season, this tournament, and did pick up a victory. As Yike is not allowed to play the bird.
Yeah, I maybe it's just the Xin Zhao here, and you just try and look for a push on bot lane into play towards the Xin Zhao.
Oh,
okay.
What about an immediate Sylas pickup?
I mean, honestly, the Sylas buffs I thought were really crazy. I've been waiting for Sylas to come out either in mid or in jungle.
I mean, Sylas into Alistar is just so good.
Yeah. The Alistar, though, was one of Busio's pick from the first place that he was exceptionally good on and was able to make a lot of plays on the roams. So trying to find an answer into the Nautilus, I think, makes sense as well, because you hook him with the Nautilus, you get the Pulverize to interrupt. And there is your pick.
There
Mr.
it is.
Atlas.
Morgan gets his Crocodile, and I am a very happy man. Senna is going to be hovered here for Quid for the moment. They will lock that one down. So Senna, not as powerful as she was the patch prior, but is still able to get work done in the later stages with a whole bunch of extra range.
Yeah, and honestly, should still be able to stack souls off Alistar pretty nicely with the double melee support matchup for bottom lane. So even though the kill drop percent chance for the souls was nerfed, still could farm them pretty nicely off the melee champs.
And Sion was tapped on this patch but didn't really do anything. Still, we have seen Renekton's have a better time in this matchup so far this tournament. Kana still going to go towards that one, try and nullify the Crocodile out of Morgan. I think Doran was the one that tried to do this against Morgan and really failed to do so, even though they did win the game.
Yeah, Morgan did solo kill him. Looking good. Morgan has really been on fire this tournament and at the end of our playoffs as well, so definitely worth the confidence there. Now let's look towards mid and jungle, though, because we're starting to get down to it. I always think that Trundle is just so OP versus a Sion team. Not only because the ult, but also the pillar is so good. Okay, there you go. Yes. Protection ban the Trundle.
That is a very good ban. I think if they had have locked in Trundle Sylas, I would have been like, well, we can go home. Pack it up. But they are going to be able to ban away that Trundle.
And then, since Trundle is banned, you mentioned Xin. Xin is now higher priority since Trundle is banned away there too, so maybe we raise the priority here for jungle.
We also have seen things like Skarner in the LEC and that have been working very well, especially if you just do want this tank front line for KC. And then you've always got the option to try and leave that counter pick for Yehu as this goes on. Maybe
they have so
that's
many
the answer
takes
here.
already with the Siren and the Alistar. How much beef is too much beef?
I mean, you got a cow, so there's a lot of beef.
Yeah, they can probably play whatever they like. And the other thing that is like the counter matchup that we've seen into Xin Zhao of old is the Kazakhs that we've seen already hovered and considered. That's not a tank. That does the damage. The Sylas going to be banned away as well. It's KC. They're not allowed to listen to the broadcast, so that is just their choice. And not going to deny me what I wanted. Okay, one last ban hit to come through here from TL. Let's see whether they focus on Yehu again or whether it is going to be something else.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of bans gone towards the mid lane, or a lot of champions gone from the mid lane. So I'm curious what the plan is. I mean, Hui did get buffed, and I've kind of been a little surprised that we haven't seen a bit more of him. I mean, that'll definitely be something for like Cream for top esports later on, but I thought teams might try and look towards it. Just going to be the TLAW instead.
All right. Going to be making Morgan's life a little bit more difficult. Can certainly get some work done into the Nautilus there as well.
So they need point and click CC to go with their TLAW to set it up for jungle. But Pantheon was already played. So by anybody? We're banned already, so I don't know. Gets kind of
Evo me nazad, sorry. Morali smo nešto da završimo na brzaka. Ali smo tu. Jajka vs Lioja. Jajk ima svoje trenutke, samo što mislim da mora da igra... Šta sam rekao, Kaziksa, ali tako? Ne, a da. Što su mi banovali na Firi sami sebi, what the fuck?
Yeah, and you can immune all the CC of all, TLAW and Alistar and Time, so...
And I was wondering if we might actually get the Rek'Sai on the other side of the that's been let through, but could Quick get his hands on a very much a comfort pick.
A njih će Olaf da ubije. Olaf je IQ 1000 piku ovdje.
But, I mean, Yone does do mixed damage, so I guess there's that. The Ahri going to be the choice instead.
I mean, Jose just dropped, what was that, like a 13 bomb, 14 kills or something on him. So, like, you know what? You're going to be the Olaf. You're going to be the main carry here, buddy. Olaf.
Should have played Lulu mid or something weird like that, you know, like just try and augment Janna mid. Let's go. As that is going to be the Kiana locked in for Yike. Damage coming out of the jungle, it's what we were kind of looking for in this one, just in general. And Kiana TLAW has been a pretty powerful combo as well.
My only worry for the Kiana is, like, Team Liquid should have pushed in that top side. And if they can start to get Olaf into the enemy jungle...
Da li, fore što njegov prio je više na Firi nego Kazix. On je blind pickovo na Firi u zadnjih 10-ak serija. Lik spamuje na Firi. I više je voli od Kaziksa, zato mi je čudno su banovali na Firi.
And hoping that Yike can have some of those combos we saw against T1, but actually get the win this time rather than have fallen a bit flat.
I do love the around the world Kiana ults when you have a TLAW wall connecting the other sides of Summoner's Rift, and you just get the longest Kiana ult of all time.
That could be an option. I'm very worried for the Kiana in the 1v1 matchup though, because I feel like after 15 minutes, you will just get run down by the Olaf.
At least Kiana can utilize grass really well.
Yeah, that's true. You can go invisible.
Tricky. You definitely don't want to fist fight the Olaf, but you have to use trickery to your advantage. Trickery with grass and then go for burst damage.
Still, I do feel like these compositions a lot more evenly matched and not as weird as far as the matchups are concerned in the last couple of games. And with how KC like to play, which is a lot of slow and steady, or at least that's what I heard, slow and steady gameplay, that might be able to help them out here. And we'll see whether they can get us to a fourth game for the first time this tournament.
When we have seen Busio, though, on this Alistar, it has been much more about getting active in the early stages, very similar to what we saw on things like the Camille. So maybe less slow and steady for KC in this one, but we'll have to see how this one pans out.
And speaking of getting active early, Olaf and Nautilus, pretty good invade combo. So they had a little soft invade up there towards the top side, but right back to Raptor start for both junglers. And they are going to power clear. Now, I will say, this little bit of information is quite nice. They got to leave this ward behind on Krugs too, so you can track this Kiana.
Olaf je jak, generalno jak, da.
Ahri in the game. Vendetta is Riftbound's next set, ladies and gentlemen. It's arriving on July 31st, and it brings together new champions, iconic rivalries, and beautiful art from across Runeterra. And here is the new Ahri card as well. And she's already got one. We've already got up to the next Ahri. Very cool.
I heard Ahri is pretty popular in all of our
Betty is a big
skins,
fan of the
lots
Ahri.
Cards.
Yeah.
Baš me zanima šta će se Senom da radi. Ma da kapiram Shiv... Mislim, ne sviđa što idu na Shiv Cleaver Muramanu. O, lep kupri buffer na Busiju.
Yeah, first stand. I mean, Spawn talked about it to us last night, and he was like, why did everybody think that EU's going to beat us? Like, Spawn beat them at first stand. It was 2-1, so it's not going to be exactly a repeat, especially if TL have their way this game.
Yeah, Core JJ with the fire. He's like, we beat them last time, and that'll happen again.
Yeah, but in EU memory, it's we made it to finals. That means we're gooder. So that was kind of what we were hoping for. The problem is we don't really get the second chance if we lose this one. We're just out of the tournament.
I don't think you're going to get to finals again.
Yeah. Well,
that's
KC,
not going to happen.
Well, we still hope G2 can do it.
No, yeah, I meant the we as in the KC we. G2 certainly with an
Da, ali ne ovaj patch. Oni igraju na patchu pre. Tako da Sena i dalje radi sa Shivom. Zamijenili su da je Q sad u novom patchu. On attack, a ne on hit. Što znači da Shiv prokovi ne smanjuju cooldown Q-a, što je dosta velika promjena. I smanjili su je koliko solova dobija kad ona ubija kripove.
So it should be fairly calm and everything going kind of according to plan here. You get a little bit of extra time, of course, after your first clear. So this is like the 90% jungle play. You almost always just leave your ward over their raptors. And he's going to cross here too over towards Yike, back to his raptors. And so we'll both have vision of each other doing our second clears.
And
our long swords.
Yeah, Quid going to lose a bit of his health bar, but that is all that really results from that last play. As Jan and KJJ just down here just trying to hold down the fort. I don't think you're expecting to win this matchup as the Sentinel Nautilus, just with the power of the Varus early, has gone lethal tempo, so we're not going to get the lethality Varus. And I actually really like this. I do feel like they need consistent damage moving into that late game, and let's just hope that Kalist can have good positioning so that he can actually get those autos down.
Yeah. Meanwhile, look at Olaf. We have a little deviation from Jose. He did not.
Ovo je play-in za MSI, tako da faktički jeste MSI, samo je play-in faza. Ostale su 3 ekipe, DCG je eliminisan već. Sad je ostao Liquid KC i T1. Pobednik ovog meča sutra u 10 sati igra protiv T1-a i pobednik tog meča ulazi u glavni event.
Yeah, just breaking records and making records here after that incredible Lee Sin performance, and we'll see what he can do on the Olaf.
Yeah, so he had a little bit of extra time there because of the extra time spent killing the red on the previous clear. Goes back now for Krugs. And both of them, honestly, very close to mirrored vision, too, that they left behind.
Yep.
With the control ward also being left behind here in TL side to see their second clear.
And I actually remember one of our first jungle pentakills was actually on an Olaf. Can't quite remember who it was that picked it up. It was probably someone like Peanut or Canyon, because generally most of our records are. But I can't remember off the top of my head. But possible opportunity for Jose to do the same thing.
Yeah, especially as this game goes later. Like 3 items on towards the Olaf, plus having the Sentinel support is huge.
But Pulverize from Busio makes his way in. As Piercing Darkness actually working out quite nicely from Jan as they avoid the Piercing Arrow as well.
Yeah, it does feel like Busio trying to get control over this bottom side. You can see multiple pings going on towards the second Scuttle spawn. So that's where KC is starting to rotate to now.
And you can see the pings right now. They're question mark.
Ukupno imaš 11 ekipa, ali 3 ekipe će biti eliminisane u play-inu i onda će ostati 8 ekipa za main event. Nema puno timova, ali većina timova su dobri, mislim. Imaš Billy i Tess iz Kine, imaš Hanvu iz Koreje plus T1, verovatno. Imaš G2 i Lion iz Evrope i Amerike i imaš Furiju iz Brazila i Team Secret Wales iz LCP-a. Tako da Furija i TSV su kao malo slabiji i svi ostali su okej.
Good vision on both sides, to be honest. This is sort of a bit of an information battle as Yike is able to steal this one away. The wall goes down, but Quid gets him off it. Yahoo is just going to back away. So just trying to play defensively here, KC, making sure that no biffo goes down in this early stage and things remain incredibly even.
Jose still trying to get this re-invade, though. No push in mid for him.
Smite. He knows Yike just used his smite, but good draw there from Yike. Pulls him all the way back into the brush.
It's a little risky, though, because he is only level 5 versus the level 6. And Yahoo had shoved in mid. And Quid had just reset, so could have potentially been a moment for KC, but decided not to pull the trigger. So now he has to walk back down towards his bottom side, giving Yike a little bit more time again to just farm up a bit of a lead for himself.
Well, another Headbutt Pulverize does come on through here as Chains of Corruption come down at the same time. Busio only level 5, so he doesn't have the Unbreakable Will as Jan trying to do his best. KJJ flashing away with the hail of arrows. He's going to connect max range on the anchor to get the escape out from this Nautilus, but did still have to use the flash in the play.
Yeah, Busio doing a good job of body blocking the hook to the terrain in front of him so that then you have to burn the flashes. KJJ still manages to escape. but it does give KC a little bit of an advantage now on that bottom side.
Yeah, Jose was moving down. That's why you saw Yon playing so aggressively. And KC, they smelt it. So they are going to be able to back away successfully. And no big advantages being picked up. Even this center lane actually doing fine as far as farm. I think that is going to be entirely evened out as these minions do get taken. Let's teleport back in as Kalist is going to face check. Does get snared. Piercing Darkness comes down, but the Piercing Arrow is there as well. A lot of piercing from both of these AD carries.
Busio using that teleport off the Summoner Spellbook, though, to get back into the lane means they should be able to get a plate for themselves, although maybe not wanting to overextend too much. Still unsure as to where the Olaf is quite at the minute.
Može, Daki. Genji si nije kvalifikovao. Plane ti je double elimination. Što znači da možeš da izgubiš jednu seriju sve do finala i da i dalje možeš se kvalifikuješ. I Liquid i KC su već izgubili od T1 i završili su u loser finalu. Ovdje ko izgubi je ispao, a ko pobedi se vraća nazad gore na T1 koji ih čeka. Znači tako funkcioniše. Tako da, znači sve do finala imaš fore da izgubiš jednu seriju i da i dalje budeš... onda ima šanse.
Basically unaware of the turret's existence.
It felt like a very late swap from KC though, because oh, hang on, is Yike gonna get caught here?
Well, Yike is moving down. There was a lot of good vision here from TL. So Core JJ making his way in. The flash on forward, flash out from Yon as well as Yike gets a supreme display of talent, but the ulti from Yon keeps him alive for a little longer, just not quite long enough as First Blood does go over to the Scion.
Ari roam from Quid.
Yeah, no flash available here for Canon, no ulti as well, but he gets into the minion wave. I don't know whether it's going to be enough. Charm still goes wide.
Ja uzim još jedan ulti basic, to je to.
And it's TL, but even out the
reset ult out.
Okay, little shutdown there for Quid on the compensation play. Mid lane does get pushed in the top.
Nema Kalist kill. O! Flash preko Ea. Sad će da ih ubiju. Da. Ovo je 3-0.
Yeah, they split it there. Morgan's like, all right, I'm going to take the second one. Holds off, and gets it.
Ovo je 3-0.
For each of the TL Bash brothers in the top lane.
Man, that is exactly what you want to see as the Olaf, though. You can just ulti and walk forwards towards him. He flashed to get in position.
Lane, yeah. Knowing that there was no real follow-up that KC could have. Once the Olaf ends up getting that ultimate, you can't keep him off the carry. Kalist goes down. Morgan stays alive for so long. And TL picking up big wins in the top lane.
Yeah, really good plan from TL there. Lying in wait, ready for the counter gank. Both flashing onto Kalist. Being able to get this kill. Now, a lot of summoner spells used, okay, because Yon also had to use his earlier on the other side. So there's a couple areas for this Kiana to attack. You saw how, effective Yike's ult was in the dive. Maybe he can get something going on the second one. With this Umbral Glaive, it is so nice to roam around, keep that vision control, so you can keep another pathway for Busio to help roaming with you.
Yeah, it did feel, though, that KC kind of fumbled the swap a lot, though, right? They end up being late towards the rotation to go for the grubs, and you end up then in this mixed match where Jose Diodo...
Gle, ja ovu seriju navijam za KC, ali generalno navijam da T1 prođe u glavni event, zašto navijam za T1. Jer kao meni je T1 mi je uvek broj 1, nakon toga idu evropske ekipe. Dobar smanjiti. Olaf nema flash, samo njega treba probati da ubiju. Možda su mogli se biju ovdje. Balkana je sad uzeo dobru poziciju. I sad Jari izgubila resete.
Sidesteps the Q, headbutt pulled from Busio as he tries to take manage into his own hands. The shield, incredible onto Jose, but he is going to be taken down first. And the unbreakable will of this Alistair keeps him alive. Core also going to be kept alive at the same time as Quid, now in the back of the pit, does have to flash away. And Yike is hunting for these escaping members of TL, but they will be able to make their way out.
What the hell are the fights in these series? They're so close. Yike being chased down by Yon, but should be able to just dash himself away.
Sin Casey uradio okej posao da su kajtovali Ari ulti, ako ništa drugo.
He has no flash. He's an Olaf in the pit. Yeah. You're like, okay, he's going to ult away, but then he's just walking back and forth, strafing in the back of the pit. Teleport, though, the play's not done quite yet.
Yeah, it's Morgan making his way in as the ruthless Predator should be able to sink his fangs in, sets up for the charm, and that is a very dead Scion. No options for Canna. And Morgan is just going to deal with this zombie as well. So that's TL getting another kill back. But look at the gold. I mean, KC is still in a fine position here in this game and with Double Dragon.
Yeah, and you say it, Jose goes in, kind of is doing a good job of trying to buy space, but he has no damage behind him. Just kind of waiting. But Bucio sees the moment for the knock-up. The ult from Kana gets some good damage. Like snipes from the brush. And again, kind of buying space on towards Quid and Jan means that KC can kind of work their way in towards this pit again. But it got so dodgy towards the end of this, especially with that lockdown onto Kalist.
Yeah, it was a weird call from TL because Kiana is really hard to outsmite because she has really good jungle monster modifiers, and then Yak did a good job using his ultimate as well. Gets the dragon and they get the kills afterwards. So KC, they bring the gold right back to even and 2 dragons stacking.
It is exactly even as well. And we have a Chemtech Soul. Oftentimes people don't like Chemtech Soul. I'm seeing an Olaf and a Renekton and an Ari. Like, there are so many champions. And a Senna. I mean, I skipped, like, the most important one. You get so much value from this Chemtech Soul because everyone can kind of be kept alive.
Mene I dalje brine Olaf. Dovoljno potraje partija, Olaf ima Siona da ga koristi kao punching bag da trči do Varusa. I Varus ako ne šota Olafa samo nema kako da igra.
Okay, let's see who is going to be able to keep stacking these up, whether it's going to be KC or whether it's TL finally prioritizing the Drake. Because I don't think TL have necessarily not had very much control in this game. They just haven't been focused on the Dragons.
Yeah, very much so. Because they're looking at how their combo is going to operate later. You know, they're trying to bank on Jan stacking souls and then getting some money into Jose so they can get to the point where this Olaf just gets to run at Varus and Talia, and those champions are not going to be able to dash away.
Nope.
And they need to get to the kind of the critical.
Pa dobro da, ali znaš šta je fora, mislim, Olaf otvara prostora za Ari takođe, jer u suštini ako Olaf uspe da dođe do backlina, Ari u teoriji možda deša pored Siona i da hvata resete pozadi. A imaš i Senu koja pomaže s tom, jer kao to je ono dive comb, bukvalno. Mislim, ključ je Olafov opener, svakako. Olaf ako otvori kako treba, Casey ne igra. A kažem, ima i Alistara, ima i Siona, tako da on je u teoriji okej da bije šta god. I Olaf je ubio Kalista, nije. Kalista je loše flashovo. Treba je flasha preko zida. Treba, okej. Kozi izgubio ult. Ali nebitno je. Kalista izgrifo. Ja, unlucky. Kažem, ako Olaf dođe do Kalista, GG, bret. Nema šta.
I thought it was going to take a while for the Olaf to get back to the Varus, but the Varus was right there in front of Core JJ. Core JJ nails him with the hook, and they full combo Kalist. It's a beautiful setup. Jose is like, great, I'll just be able to take the kill early. Take a look at this. So into the brush here, Core JJ is going to walk over with Jan, and then boom, right there, right in Kalist. And guess what? Olaf right behind him. So that's
Kalist je mora flasha s gornje strane zida jer je Olaf flashovo na njega.
You're basically trying to scramble and get people out, evacuate, but Quid also hitting the charm there onto Yahoo as they're able to finish off Bucio. And
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out why Kalist was walking towards the bush. They knew that the Nautilus was in.
That is one. There's also Canon deciding to drive the train past the very scary Olaf that did just lose Ragnarok, which could have potentially helped him and Yike make something happen. But was a bit of a mistake there from KC, and it does put TL in a fantastic position. The first big gold advantage here in this game is TL looking for that date against T1 coming up tomorrow to try and get themselves a spot in the main stage of MSI. Remember, this is just the lower bracket. There is still one more test to get yourselves towards that main stage coming up after this.
Poor JJ doing such a good job here, constantly sweeping, constantly throwing down control wards, and guess what? Now you're going to have to enter into the dragon area here versus TL, who are ready to dive again.
Da, Kalist ne performa, nikako ne performa. Dalje mogu da dobiju, samo što kažem. Mislim, Olaf jednu sekiru da pogodi, priđe u stride breaker range i Kalist je mrtav. Gle, samo čekaju njega, više oni tuku prvu metu jer mogu. Dobar, jako dobar ult od Alije. Ali je Liquid jako lepo reagovao da ostanu s jedne strane zajedno.
TL, they do not want to give this one up, but I mean, it's so difficult without their mid laner who doesn't have teleport as well. Boostio goes in, gets the pulverizer, steal from Jose. Never mind, it wasn't.
Nije stil, nije. Ja sam mislio zbog ovog. Ikalisti je mrtav, ne igra i Boostio je sad mrtav. Olaf ima perma ulti. Lepku. Ovo nebitno je. A lepku svakako. Ikalist ne igra.
Okay, they know where Morgan is. He does not want that fight.
Yeah, I got so enthusiastic because I saw that there was Olaf taking something, and the smite didn't actually come on through. KC were at least able to get themselves stall point.
Yeah, Boostio does a good job. Like he's just keeping him barely out of range, but this is the real surprise. Yeah, Quid deleted by Yike there. Nicely done by Yike right out of the brush, and Quid also flashed there. So not only did they delete him, but they also got his summoner spell.
Had he just teleported to that part of the map as well, on top of everything? So that's even more that he misses out on the next little while. Still, 2.6k going to be the advantage for TL. And breaking open the middle of the map going to be very important for this squad at the same time. So I think still in a good position, but giving over the soul is going to be a rough one, especially when KC do kind of want to speed things up. Getting to an early Elder could be dangerous here for TL before their centers online.
I think they still do have an exceptionally strong combo with Yike, though. You can see how quickly he could delete Quid.
Yeah.
If he ends up
Mislim, opet, Kaliska dobije Ghost i Flash, može da outplaya Olafa.
Like, the goal is 2.7k at this stage. Is nice, but not insurmountable for KC. But especially as Team Liquid now get to set up on side lanes, I think this is where they start to become more threatening. Like, Ari very good in this position. Morgan on the Renekton with the lead, very strong. And Jose Diodo more than happy to dive these turrets if it works for him.
Well, it might work for him right now. As they are moving towards Canon, the referee got something to say to this player. As kind of really wants to get rid of this turret, as Ari just going to dash in front to make
Quid je fine, ne radi puno damage-a Sion, ali okej.
He moves away from the turret, not exactly opportune. It's going to take a while to kill him, but kill him they will. And TL now looking for an opportunity to take down this turret at the same time. They will be able to get it. 3 Grub's going to be helping out there. This is Zombie Scion, no help from the rest of his teammates. TL actually moving for a little bit more aggression in this mid lane.
Good block there from Boostio. Kalista had the slow on him, so Jan was trying to thread the needle there and get the snare, but Boostio just walks up and takes it, so nobody's going to die for KC there, and they'll still get their cross map of the tower, but nice play from TL. They just brute force. They're like, yes, we will be able to kill you. Jose doesn't even respect the zombie getting back up. He's like, ah, it's fine. You do whatever you want. I'm going to kill this tower too.
Yeah, also Morgan shifting from top lane, knowing, look, that tower is going to go down. I can't do anything about it. Covers the mid lane, so this Varus can't even get more of that plate gold. And now you're in a position where you get to re-establish yourselves on this top side with Baron up and available.
Yeah, it does seem hard for KC to combo like more than one person. Like, I'll definitely give you, Yike could definitely like one-shot Quid or one-shot Jan, but if Olaf now on 2 items is able to run down your, wait a second, they're going to make a big play on top side. That's everybody for TL.
Yeah, the whole gang. They got their whole gang together. Looking for an angle towards Yehu, but he is going to be able to pick up this wave. Looks like they're not looking for anything here. As Jose wanting to spot Yike, does manage to find him there with the Scryer's Bloom. Now sprinting over TL.
Morgan je, mislim, htio sam kažem, Morgan igrao okej u Dorana. Igrao je okej u Dorana protiv Tivana, ali ostatak Tivana je samo predobar. Ali Morgan je bio fajn u tom matchupu skroz. Mislim, ajde kažem, Doran stvarno ništa spec ne radi. Ne znam da li u LCK-u bio išta bolji, ali ovde stvarno nisam nešto pretjerano impresioniran.
Yeah, the map just feels so shortened for KC because you're constantly getting control over mid. Kalist can't really step up to contest that mid push, and then you're just shifting with Core JJ, Jose Diodo, and Jan back and forth, getting all the vision you want, denying KC any access to river, and if anyone at all steps up, they just immediately die. Like, Kana is the only real tanky one on this team.
Yeah, and I think that TL should make the call to, you know, prioritize diving Yehu instead of Kalist. Kalist right now isn't even going to do much damage if he's, you know, if he's attacking people, but I think taking out the Talia first then would be the, obviously, like, ideal priority, but, you know, if Kalist is there too, also still a good target to run down. And, okay, now he's got Rage Blade, so now it's definitely a little bit more threatening.
Yep, 2 items pretty scary here. We do have a couple for Yon also put together though, as the Manamune has been completed now as well. And he's going to start doing a fair bit of damage himself.
Kalist ima damage da ubije Olafa. Samo je... Kažem opet, pitanje da li će dobiti da stoji i da ga bije. Šta je ovo ako je ovo što sam došao? Dobro, nije dobro. Jajk je operovo ni na šta. Ali našli su jedan kill. I sad je Jajk mrtav. I to je game. Ne želi da flasha i onda sam umre i onda ne može da baci flash. Morgan? What? Moje oči! Nema veze ljudi, sve okej. Sve okej, verujemo u G2.
And so Team Liquid then win in the scramble, and they're going to deny the Dragon Soul.
Yeah, Jan played that fight so well. The immediate flash away from the Supreme display of talent so he doesn't get caught, and then gets the route on towards Kalist as well. As who wants to fight against Quid with the sidesteps though? Yeah, Busio does make his way forward. Can is here as well. Quid, ladies and gentlemen, is dead. The threaded volley is going to be able to take him, and that is the shutdown. So nicely done there. First kill going over to Yehu, and I think getting money on your Talia going to feel fantastic. Looking for that third item and wanting to be able to augment the damage here for KC.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good follow-up play because, you know, that's how they killed Kalist was Quid ult and flashing forward to follow up and get the charm on him off that route that you're talking about that Jan was able to land on him. So they knew no mobility left for that Ari. Let's punish him up on the side lane, grab that shutdown money while we can.
All right, as the dust settles, we have the soul denied, so 4 minutes on another opportunity for KC. But one Chemtech Dragon is not really going to mean too much for TL, and they have a long road ahead of them if they do want to even out the Drakes in this game. So KC still with a lot of tempo control, I think, in this game. But whether they can utilize it correctly is going to be the big question as we move forward. As we check out the Coinbase Gold Grind, Jan doing a whole lot better than Kalist in this game, and better than I was expecting because he's playing center. And oftentimes you feel like you fall behind.
Yeah, and it does feel like there's kind of like a choice here from KC. They're not giving as much of that gold in towards Kalist. And you can see here, sorry, this was the fight. Jan flashing away, then gets the root.
Mislim, Kalist je morao da flashuje root ka gore, ja mislim. Mislim da je morao da flashuje root ka gore.
Being off the back of Jan playing this exception and then setting up for Jose Diodo to kind of knock them down where they'd already been set up.
Exactly, running them down, getting the extra kills here. Of course, on the top side, you have the escape. Now we're back to it.
Yeah, more fighting as Yike gonna get taken down a little bit lower, but that's going to be Core JJ in a bit of trouble. Depth Charge comes in, Dawning Shadow to try and keep his Nautilus alive as Quid gets into the backline. Supreme Display of Talent does so much work, and they manage to take down the Olaf, but still, Jan is fighting. Quid still alive. Busio taken out as Morgan brings his Renekton into the backline. The Mega Blast Cone going to try and get Canner out to relative safety, but the charm connects, and TL, even without their Viking,
Ubiše nas, braćo.
They're able to get the extra ones, and they can push the towers after this too. They've got mid wave and top wave all pushing in their favor. They only drop the Olaf this time with the burst damage at the very end there. Yaiko's able to get it off.
Was that a 5v5 over a blue buff?
Yeah, it looks
Hell
like
yeah.
Yeah. And it looked kind of, as you say, decent here for KC to begin with, because Yike doing a good job of separating. Busio has actually been able to keep people off of Kalist on this side as well, alongside Kana. And it's the Supreme Display of Talent that then sets things up.
Yeah, so Yike is able to burst down Olaf. Morgan is able to get back and then force Kalist flash away. And so the top side going well for them, and they have plenty of time then to finish up the zombie.
Mislim, Sion ko radi posao, teško je za ubiti, ali opet džabe kad mu se backline toliko brzo raspadne, onda samo mogu trene na njega.
Get the extra pressure from the other side of the fight. Meanwhile, Giannis is free hitting here. The Senna stacks are at 80, okay? You know, he had a lane versus, you know, double melee supports, stacking up souls there, and then continually stacking through all of these fights. And when the games are this action-packed and have so many fights.
This is crazy, by the way. LCS really making their way back in as far as the scoreline versus the LEC, as these stats actually include the 2 victories from TL earlier today.
And also, like, if you look back at the last 2 years, unfortunately, it hasn't been great for LEC. It's been LCS who've been able to get the best of us with Team Liquid picking up a 3-1, and then it was FlyQuest as well. They managed to get the 3-0, I believe, over G2 too. So I was kind of hoping that this would be KC, who like have looked stronger than they did in the past, kind of stepping up on the international stage. Like we saw them at first time, but really getting a run at it at MSI. just hasn't been the case, and this doesn't even feel like the KC we've seen domestically.
Yeah, they haven't really been able to rely on that strength of just still being able to win the team fights later. TL have still been able to get the better of them. All right, now setting up once again. I mean, I feel like it does get worse because we're still thinking about the Olaf and Senna combination.
Yeah.
Because the Olaf, when you're buffed up by Senna, like the healing and shielding, like Jose just becomes such a crazy threat.
And if you add several Chemtech Dragons into that, kind of good.
Not to mention a Renekton.
It's going to be so hard to kill him.
Yeah.
Because if the Renekton and the Olaf are sort of like going for the same target, Senna is just giving both of them the same stuff. Just feels a little bit unfair. Dawning Shadow can be so
Busio troluje da pogura Ameriku.
20 seconds until
In double agent, vrate, došao vamo za MSI. Ovo je long game bio.
They can make it happen. Yike was pretty good on the smite trigger finger earlier on today. This could be an opportunity for them to get a bit of power in this game.
All right, TL once again with vision control, nicely set up by them. It's going to make KC have to approach this dragon from some dangerous angles. They do have some blast cones to work with. You can get a little creative, but it's so scary. And you can see TL fanning out into this 3-point. They're keeping vision all points of entry over towards the dragon, and KC don't even want to take a part of it.
Yep, not going to be a thing. So that is going to be second Chemtech Dragon over to TL. I do like that KC realize they don't really have to fight for this if they can't get a good position, and so deciding to forego it for now and get some control towards the Baron Pit.
Yeah, they weren't really in a position to trade though for anything, right? Because you already had that top wave pushed out. Mid was fully pushed in by Team Liquid as well. So you kind of just saw Yehu move top, get a wave, and then that's been kind of the extent of it. So Team Liquid are doing a decent job as well before the setup for the objective of making sure there's not enough for KC to take anywhere else.
Yeah, and those experience disadvantages are becoming a problem for KC. I mean, Morgan has a straight 2-level...
Kidian, Skjahune rundown, to je istina. To je istina.
Side lanes are really, really hard for them to deal with.
Ne znam, mislim, vidim, što je najgore, 0-4 Kalisti dalje možda iznese game ako dobije free DPS. Varu sa Ragebladeom, ako dobije pasivnu, u stvari će raditi nehuman damage.
Even Yon is a full level ahead of Kalist, so we're going to start up the Baron.
Yeah, Yike is actually going to go back. They don't have any vision towards his Baron Pit. Busio, he cannot check it. They do manage to get the Scryer's Bloom, but the Baron already down to 50%. Yike realizing that he has to stick around, try and go for a bit of a trade here as the wall comes down. CoreJJ possibly caught out, flung back towards the team as he flashes away. Death Charge comes through. Yike is dead versus Canna. Stunned up. CoreJJ still alive as they're dashing into the backline. Kalist is going to keep himself alive, but now good sidestep as he takes down Quid and keeps himself alive. Jose, next one to fall. Canna should be wiped off the rift by Morgan, but TL, an even trade is not what they were looking for around that Baron.
Yeah, I think they were separated again.
Dobro, KC, still kicking.
When we're diving two different areas, and then you scroll back over and they're still on the Scion.
Because I thought that charm from Quid was about to just be the end for KC. You see here, they jump on towards CoreJJ, but just watch the charm here from Quid. He manages to sneak past Busio onto Yike. He doesn't get the ult off, and then you get this chase into the backline. But because the Olaf hasn't been hitting people, Jose Diodo ends up with the ult falling off. He gets double hit by Yehu. You get the combo from Busio onto Quid. Kalist stays alive, and Kana's buying a ton of time in that backline where you have to draw Morgan away. So in the grand scheme of things, ends up being a 2-for-2.
Yeah, excellent peeling there from Yehu and Busio, keeping Kalist alive. Man, that Talia over the wall.
And Kalist being able to sidestep as well.
Kako hoćeš, rektore, kako hoćeš. Ti u stvari biraš. Ako ti veruješ da Varus W nešto radi, to onda to radi. Tako radi igrica. Vam je link u chatu za MSI ako niste vidjeli. Ovo vam je LoL Esports link. Tu gledate, tu dobijete dropove, dobijete ikonice i motove i LoL Esports kapsule, što je dosta cool.
This has kind of been the call from KC. It's get Yehu into a side lane, try and feed him a bunch of gold. That's why he's the one member with an actual advantage when it comes towards the levels, working up towards that Rabadon's death cap. KC would love to have that before this Chemtech Dragon fight, which I expect is coming in just under 2 minutes.
All right, CoreJJ clearing out vision. Jose wasting no time, is already hitting the Baron. And there is another Scryer's Bloom that is going to spot that one out. So KC utilizing the map in order to get vision, as there is another anchor forward. Not exactly the optimal target, as Busio is the one that's focused, but Unbreakable Will now being on cooldown. That's a Renekton showing up. It does have the big old shield from that teleport from the top lane.
Honestly, that's pretty good for KC. They got the extra teleport out because they're the ones that used Scion teleport last time. So they did get the cooldown. Busio's recalling though. Alistar with no ultimate is pretty hard to team fight.
Yeah, and they still have zero vision of this area. Yike not actually moving over. They do spot it with the scrying orb. But can KC actually go for this?
O, odi Yike. E sad je njihov Baron.
No smite, no chance of contesting the
Da.
Baron here as well as TL. Beautifully played.
TL set up.
A ne mogu da igraju zato što Varus nema summonera. Varus bez summonera samo nije heroj bukvalno.
No control at all around the pit and TL knew it.
Now with the Baron, but 4-1 split push. Ari on top side, and as Morgan walks in,
yeah, he's just face checking here. Doesn't have the dominance available. Kolomik is going to be there as the rest of TL moving on forward. There's the unstoppable onslaught to get Kana out of there. That is now a big tool that he will not be able to use. The inner turret is going to be taken down towards the top side, and TL, this Rebel Baron power play already at 2,200. And Quid should be able to get away from this. I say that.
Doesn't have the ult yet.
he
Yeah,
has flash.
Oh. Yeah, Foxfire as well. Try and keep him be okay. The flash now has to be used though, as just barely able to slink past.
It is Yahu's ultimate down though with the Chemtech Dragon just about to spawn, so you can see Yike trying to make his way out, but with the investment KC put into that top side, I just don't think they can really contest this once again.
Well, that is going to be 3 Chemtech Dragons here for TL, so that's their sole point to come on in. The maximum Elemental Dragons is going to be available here in this game. TL not going to be contested for this one. KC's base remains intact for now, but we are moving to some pretty dangerous gold levels.
We certainly are. And Morgan now has a 3-level full lead over Kana.
Oh God, he's 507. This
your
is
favorite player, your favorite player on his favorite champion.
Oh, and he's having such a good game on it as well. Oh, Busio? Well, Morgan is just wondering who he's going to hit.
I ode tier 2. Busio je samo mrtav. Ultimu ne radi ništa ovdje. True damage udari kuga ga ubija. Kalistim oba summonera, ali mislim da nije dovoljno.
So yes, to answer your question, gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's an anchor towards Kana as well, who is just going to get caught out of position, flashes out of the way, gets turned into a zombie as Morgan just wanders his way towards this inhibitor turret, and KC just kind of falling apart here as their base is doing exactly the same thing. Inhibitor going to go down towards the bottom side, and with the remnants of this Baron, TL, they should be able to get Nexus turrets for this as well.
Yike was still trying to flank. He was trying to flank this whole time.
Yike, brat moj, flankuje na vrlzu.
Well, the Nexus turrets are going to start falling down as look at that army of siege minions that are set up to take this last one away. Busio has respawned though, so maybe that is going to help them out on the defense.
Pa ne može. Olaf mora se flashuje na njegov, mora se flashuje preko tankog zida da možda nastavi DPS-u, ali to je to, ja mislim da je ovo samo game, da. I to, i Kalist, gle, on ne može, ne radi, ima 2 summonera, ne radi damage. Pogledaj damage kako radi Olafu iz Basica. Užas. Užas. Mislim, 3-0 je, ja ne znam stvarno, očekivao sam malo više od KC-a, iskreno.
The improvements that they've shown, outstanding. I feel like their drafting has got a lot better, and you can definitely tell they're more comfortable on the stage.
Yeah, I mean, this one didn't even feel close. Jungle support outpacing across a huge amount of this series, and Morgan getting the better of Kana. That Renekton was terrifying in these fights.
He is pretty good at Renekton, as it turns out, but a bit of an uncharacteristic performance from KC. I felt like they were in a very similar position against T1 that TL was. I was expecting this to be a whole lot closer. But TL, I mean, if you want to have any sort of performance moving towards a matchup against T1, this is the performance you want to see. Let's throw it back to the boys on the desk.
Veoma unlucky, ali šta da radimo, Amerika nas dobila. Sutra gledamo Liquid protiv T1. Moja prognoza će biti 3-0 za T1, ali ne bi me čudilo da Liquid izvuče jedan win. Čisto malo da se zabiberi, svakako mislim da će T1 proći dalje, tako da... to je to za danas, ljudi moji, to je to za danas, bilo je dosta chill, nažalost nije dobila ekipa koju smo voljeli da dobije, ali svako, eto, sutra gledamo Team Liquid protiv T1, nakon toga imamo jedan dan pauze, u četvrtak neće biti MSI-a, a od petka krećemo opet od 5 ujutru sa glavnom fazom MSI-a, tu ćemo gledati i TES, gledat ćemo i BLG, i Hanvu, i G2,
as much as the banter was going back and forth.
I od petka kreće prava ludnica. Tako da, ništa, pravimo pauzicu, Viđamo se malo kasnije. Ja se nadam da ste uživali. Do sutra ili ti do večeras. Veliki pozdravi, vidimo se kasnije.
I will say, my real opinion was that coming into the tournament, I thought KC was going to be better than TL, but based on the actual tournament performance, Jose and Morgan have both been playing above where I expected. Morgan in particular, it's a crazy glow up from the regular season, and that is actually what made me believe that they would have an edge today over KC. I thought it was going to be a lot more competitive though, but Jose went crazy. I think KC's draft prep was horrible, and I think that was a big contribution to it as well. TL hard outdraft them in my opinion, and I do think that Kalist had a really bad series in some of these big moments. Kana had a horrible Vayne game. Like, KC just didn't show up.
I think as well, when you look at how TL prepared for the T1 series, felt like they came in there with some really smart drafts. That Poppy game, they did most of the work to win the game and then crumbled at the last moment, but that doesn't eliminate the fact they were in a winning position against T1, and you can see their game plans working really well against KC.
And in Game 3 as well, right? Like, those games were winnable, and I don't think that KC had that big player that was kind of stepping up in the way that, you know, the T1 players were from those deficits. If you get behind, you need someone to be the star, someone to kind of, you know, do that big play. I think Yike was trying his heart out in that last game, but certainly, we got to be honest, there was one jungler that was standing tall in this one. Jose had just been crazy across all 3 games. The Olaf pick, I think, was really, really smart. Made a lot of sense in the draft. It was very cohesive. The Lee Sin game was the biggest 1v1